Welcome to the Hop Edition podcast, brought to you in association with The Malt Miller, your go-to choice for premium homebrewing ingredients and equipment. Whether you're a beginner starting out or an experienced brewer, The Malt Miller has got you covered. So for top quality products and customer service, jump over to themaltmiller.co.uk and tell them the Hop Edition sent you. We would also like to thank all our Patreons for their continued support with running and developing the pod. If you would like to become a member and gain access to exclusive perks and benefits, head over to patreon.com/The Hop Edition. Now it's time to get this pod started, so crack open a homebrew and enjoy the episode. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 129 of the Hop Edition podcast. Tonight we're joined by our favourite frothy beer-loving friend, Mr Richard Baggaley, from none other than Wheatlow Brewery. So Rich is going to be sharing his homebrewing story, hopefully some fun anecdotes along the way. And as you may have noticed, he's recently been taking the UK homebrewing YouTube by storm with a regular stream of excellent content, following various beers that he's been brewing, events that he's been putting on, and all sorts of other fun stuff along the way. So do make sure you go and check out Wheatlow Brewery on YouTube if you're not already aware of that. You might have seen him on some of the videos from our sponsors, the Malt Miller, as well. So on that note, obviously we've got to mention our partner sponsor, the Malt Miller. They're premier supplier of all things homebrew. Make sure you get over to their website. While you're there, don't forget to check out their dedicated Hop Edition recipe section. You can find a range of beers there that are featured on various podcasts, including some of our own recipes, as well as some absolute belters from our guests over the years. Currently, Malt Miller also have some really decent discounts going on various things for their autumn sale, including brewing equipment in terms of brew pots and sort of free vessel system type setups, brewzillas, grain fathers, fermenters like the Apollo Titan, 10% off Munton's malts, and there's also just been introduced a big discount on hops. All the hops, every hop on the website, I think, is reduced. So if you want to stock up, now is a good time. And remember, they do the larger bags, so you can get your 500 kilo size bags from the Malt Miller as well now.
Thanks to us when we were telling them.
Thanks to us moaning about it constantly and saying get some bigger bags on there. So jump on, check it out. You might be able to pick up a bargain, especially if you're looking to stock up on some of those ingredients at the moment. But anyway, that's enough of that. We want to hear from our guest. So good evening, Richard. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sending out such an awesome selection of beers, not just to us, but gotta say as well straight away, for all the people that are going to be joining us for a drink along tonight. You've done an absolutely amazing job sending out copious amounts of beer mail to get the audience involved, and all out of your own pocket as well. So I think just straight away a round of applause for a job well done on that front. That's really awesome. But how are you doing, Richard? And thanks very much for coming along.
I'm great, thanks. But I've got a terrible sound problem here with an echo, so if anyone can help me sort that out.
Well, it's not coming through on the stream. I think it might just be into your ears, but we can probably chuck something in the private chat just to fix that up for you. There's something in the settings, Rich. Let's have a look. And if you go to the little cog at the bottom and then go to audio, I think you need to unselect echo cancellation, reduce mic background noise. So if you unselect both of those, I think it should sort your echo out.
Untick them.
Yeah. Ironically.
Okay, I think we might be better. I've still got some kind of echo.
Right. Has it only started since we've gone live?
Yeah, strange.
We just
have you
lost
got
Andy as well.
Where's Andy gone? Have you got? You haven't got the YouTube stream running at the same time, have you, Rich?
Oh, possibly.
That might be why. You can have that on, but mute it.
That's better. Yeah. Okay. I'm with you. I'm back in the room.
Like an 8-second delay echo. Yeah.
Thank goodness. It would have been a struggle to do that. I must admit. The whole. Going to need to open a frothing ale after that.
Get that frothing ale open.
Panic averted. Panic averted.
Andy's momentarily departed the stream.
Don't know what happened with Andy.
Possibly an outage.
Well, this is going well so far, isn't it?
It's a spiffy start. I think
seamless transition.
He says, "Oh, brilliant." Anyway, Rich, how are you doing, mate? How are you this evening?
Well, I'm tremendous. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for having me. And I'm a little bit nervous because until you open each can, you don't know whether it's any good or not, do you? But I'm hopeful.
I'm sure it's going to be.
This one smells all right.
A delightful evening of beers. So big shout out. Not only did you send us beers, you sent us all a t-shirt, which we're dutifully wearing, as well as a lovely Wheatlow glass as well. Might not be able to see that super well. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus. No, probably not the best demonstration, but you've got Wheatlow on there. And what I really like about this glass, Rich, is the fact that it's like it's a sort of German mass, but in pint format.
Exactly that. And for the Oktoberfest, where we had, was it 5 German beers? I thought we need to put this in pints rather than litres. And Andy's back. And so I've gone for these, but still we needed the stability and the sturdiness of the Mars, because when people start dancing on the table and the table collapses, it's important that the glass doesn't break and the beer doesn't spill. And luckily that was the case when they did collapse.
Oh dear. I hope no one was hurt.
No, luckily they all survived because no glasses broke, so that's super.
Happy days, happy days. And whilst we're on the subject, Rich, why don't you tell us a bit more about your recent Oktoberfest celebrations?
I started thinking about it a little bit late. Really, it was sort of early mid-July, and I thought, I fancy doing a fest beer. And I thought, I'll just do a fest beer. That'll be interesting. Never done one before. Done a Helles, but not a fest beer. And then I just started thinking, well, I better do another one and another one and another one. And I thought, well, we better make a proper Oktoberfest of it. And so having brewed 5 beers, then I thought, well, better put a few English beers on for the Bass lovers and so on that won't drink the German beer. And it morphed into 11 beers, so we thought I'd better invite a few people around. Otherwise, we'll never drink them all. And
so can I just check my understanding that this entire event started with you going, I might brew a fest beer?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
and how many people did you have at the Oktoberfest?
Well, we sort of totted it up on the back of an envelope the next day, and it was we think 184 people.
If ever the phrase "that escalated quickly" was appropriate, then I think this is it.
But we didn't run out of beer and we didn't run out of swine, so mission accomplished.
Very good. You had the old hog roast done, did you?
Yeah, that's the easiest way to feed people, isn't it? Mass catering.
Oh, definitely.
On one occasion, I did a Kolsch night, and I thought I've got to do the Haxe, the German pork knuckle, and that was a big mistake. I thought I'll cook them myself, and I think I did something like 35, and only 8 would fit in the oven, and they took about 5 hours each round. So I think it took me 3 days to cook the swine. So that wasn't the best way of doing it, but you live and learn. It.
How did you keep the first round warm until?
Well, to let them cool and then warm them up again.
And then warm them back up.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
And I ended up shredding them anyway, so they'd go round everyone. So it was completely pointless having the haxes. The whole point was to have the pork knuckles looking impressive, but yeah.
Sounds like you need an industrial oven.
Which is what a hog roast is, isn't it? They're absolutely ideal. So yeah. It was a great night, and a lot of people dressed up properly as well, dirndl and lederhosen. It was a bit late because it was 1st of November, but the weather just about held, and we sort of morphed into bonfire night as well because it was 1st of November. So people could spill outside and still stay a bit warm next to the bonfire. So I think it was reasonably good.
Sounds like a great night. If you
Yeah.
do it again, Rich, I might be tempted to head on up.
Might make the journey.
Brilliant.
If
I'll
I'm
let you know, and then you can
I just invited
in
myself
advance.
there. Yeah,
You
apologies.
can, if you book a week off, we'll make a session of it.
Oof. Crikey. Now we're talking.
Proper festival.
Holiday to Lincolnshire. Very good. So
Staffordshire.
Is it I thought you were in Lincolnshire.
Yeah, no, Staffordshire.
No.
Rick's in Lincolnshire, isn't he?
Yeah.
Rick, sure.
That I must be mixing you up with Rick. Apologies. So, Rich, you sent us some beers. Do you want to tell us what you sent? Not only us, but was it 30 other people?
Yeah, I think 33 sets in the end, including us, and it was good. I just had enough. I've got one left that I've promised to my nephew, so he's going to watch it on Sunday.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, that's a fair effort, mate. A fair effort.
Yeah.
It was.
It's
But
probably
once you
about
get in a
right.
rhythm, it's easy packing them into it. Although I see in the comments I've made a packing error, which is horrifying. But at least
no.
I've got
What
6
happened?
beers of some sort.
What's the what was the packing error?
2 of one can and none of another. So,
Oh, well, it could be worse. It could be worse. You got free beer, so don't complain, people.
that was my thinking.
Very good, very good. So, do you want to talk us through the beers that you sent?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the chat as well, comments I put, we put the sort of online menu just for a bit more detail, and obviously you've got what it says on the can, but if you haven't got the cans, you can log on to the menu and just read a bit about each beer. So this one, first one that we're drinking now, Sweet Release. This is one of Stiffo's recipes. I guess he did it to try out the Sweet Release yeast from WHC when it was launched. Excuse me. And I brewed it the first time when he brought his video out, and I just tweaked it a little bit, up the hop in a bit, and I think it's really a nice beer. It's only 3.2.
Yeah,
and
super drinkable, isn't it?
And the reason that I was interested in it, it's a thiolizing yeast, which I'd never used before. It's mash hopping with Cascade, which I'd never done before. So it's good fun to try these different techniques, isn't it? And one particular beer, every beer you brew, you just learn something a little bit more, don't you? And it helps you garner your knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get your thoughts on what you think mash hopping and using a thiolized yeast brought to the table.
Well, of course, in order to tell you the answer to that, I'd have to not do it and then do it and compare them side by side, I suppose, wouldn't I?
Well, I guess maybe anecdotally. Any thoughts?
It's counterintuitive that sticking hops in the mash will... but it's to do, I think, with the enzymes in the mash, isn't it? Converting certain things in the hops to things that can be then thiolized. From what I understand, it's like when you use a thiolizing yeast, you can get nice flavors and you can get horrible flavors, like onion and garlic and things like that. So I think that this one has definitely got some sort of tropical niceness going on, and not much onion and garlic, hopefully.
I think it's worked really well. I mean, on all fronts, super, really nice body to it, and loads of fruit flavour. I think there's a little bit of that sort of firelized beer character that I recognise from other beers that have, I've had commercially that have used this kind of process. But yes, it seems to give it a little bit of a sort of spiky, kind of pineapple-y, grapey kind of tang on there, but in a really nice way. I've not always been a fan of the kind of firelized character in a lot of beers, but actually just adds a really nice bright kind of top note in this one. So I think it's really well executed. Pretty strong effort out the gate there, Rich, to be fair.
Do you boys get the lemon sort of thing because of the kind of it being a kind of low ABV and that sort of thing? You normally kind of get that sort of grainy lemon thing, don't you?
Get some lemony stuff, don't you? Certainly.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of lemon rind vibe.
Yeah, no, I think I'd agree with that.
It's kind of characteristic of kind of table beers and stuff like that you get. It can present like that, and that's mostly from the malt that happens.
And so someone's asking in the chat which hops. So this one has got Cascade in the mash hop, and then Idaho 7 and Cascade in the hot side, and then Citra, Idaho 7 and a bit of Nelson in the dry hop. So you're not getting loads of Nelson-y stuff either, are you really?
Are you getting the grapefruit from the Idaho 7?
Someone said in the chat, but it's lemon and mandarin. There's definitely like a sort of mandarin, like that Idaho 7's turning out more kind of mandarin orangey, I think. Maybe that's a combination of the Nelson with the Idaho.
It's not the traditional flavours you get from those hops, is it? It is kind of totally twisted and different, which is really cool.
Which is what, I suppose that's what you're aiming for, isn't it? The thiolizing thing. It's all new to me, I must admit. Every day is a school day at the Wheatlow Brewery. It's really fun to do this one, and it's a hugely popular beer in the tap room when my neighbours come round. Sometimes I think it's because it's the weakest one I do.
Yep.
And there's certain cowardice at play, but most of the time I think it's because people actually like it. And the other thing is it's gluten free. It's got clarity in it. So if people ask for a gluten-free beer, then this is often what they'll stay on all night.
So is it just certain ones that you just do gluten-free then? You pick?
It has been, yeah. Normally hazy one, I don't really know why. It's a bit counterintuitive. But I think it perhaps started when I did that Jiddler's Tipple one and he put it in. That was a hazy one, wasn't it? But I should add it to everything, because why wouldn't you want it gluten-free?
Yeah, I do that.
I've been doing
it. Yeah, now. I was having issues, was it last year? And one of the things we tried was the Clarity Firm. And then I noticed my beer just tastes so good, and I don't get all the farts the next day either. So I'm just like win-win.
Doesn't sound like a problem I'd have.
We ought to ask your wife about that. You corroborate.
Yeah, sure. I think great recipe by Stiffo, this one.
Changing the subject quickly there. I think one of the things I don't know if you mentioned or kind of glossed over a little quickly is Tricky mentioned the body, and this has got malted extrin in, right? Just to help boost that body, that non-fermentable.
Stiffo was a bit grumps about whether to add it or not in his video, but I just stuck it all in. In my case, a kilo at this scale, and
brilliant.
I think it is probably helping, isn't it, with the body?
I think it is. It says it on the can. It belies its low strength in terms of the body. I'd absolutely agree with that. I mean, very, very difficult to brew a beer at this ABV and not find it a little thin. And I think you could fool me to think that that's like a high 4%, 5%
easily.
Yeah,
I think that's why it's a winner actually. And when people come round, they like to drink it because.
Do you just have it on keg, Rich, or do you put this one on cask at all?
Well, it's funny you should say that because at the time that I kegged this, it was full bore Oktoberfest stockage, and
right.
I just ran out of kegs, and so I've put 2 in cask, 2 pins. I filled 2 pins with it, and I haven't breached them yet. But I mean, I've always called.
You're going to find out how it goes on cask shortly, then.
Yeah, correct. I guess there's a video there somewhere. But the thing is, it's very counterintuitive to put a hazy beer on cask, isn't it? Because of oxidation and so on. But I mean, the answer to that is just drink it fast. And it's a session beer, so I'm sure we can drink it fast, can't we?
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to
4 or
see.
5 mates.
Do you think that a beer like this goes a bit flabby if it's not well carbonated, though? That's the question.
Yeah.
I think you've almost got to get the carbonation on point. I think with serving on cask, it's got to be. It's kind of almost got to be lively, but not obviously heavily carbonated. So it's a bit of a balancing act. I do agree. It might end up either a little bit thinner or a little bit flabby.
But it does have the bitterness to back up sometimes, because you want to just have that little bit more bitterness when you're putting it in cask, don't you, if you've not got the carbonation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it could be, if it gets a delicious frothing head from the sparkler, it could be just slip down, couldn't it?
I think it might be. I think it might be. Oh, I love it. When are you gonna test it out, Rich?
I probably have to just pause this now and go and do it. I think.
Right now.
Hook it up.
Spirit.
Listen, we know that you are a big fan of the cask beer format.
Yes.
And we're intending covering that in a bit more detail later on. We're quite intrigued in terms of your cask kind of setup and stuff. So I'll save my cask-related questions.
We've got an hour's block
later.
for me to talk about cask, surely.
Yeah, we've got an hour aside to talk about Gulu, and an hour aside to talk about cask.
Super.
Should we get into your actual story? Because I noticed you've actually is it 1993 that you've got?
Yes.
Is it your brewery or is it family, or how does that work? Because what age would you
In
have been?
1993, I was 16.
Yeah.
And desperate for ale, not able to buy it, not able to drive and go and get it, and living in a rural place as well. And so I just made it.
Wow.
And but I was lucky because I was in a bookshop when, remember bookshops when we used to have them, and I saw this book, which is this is the first edition of Graham Wheeler's Brew Your Own Real Ale at Home.
Yeah.
And I sort of flicked through it in the bookshop and saw names that I recognised, like Bass and Guinness and things like that. And I couldn't believe, it blew my mind, I couldn't believe it's possible that you could make beer that it was like the ones you saw in the pub. And I just couldn't believe it. And after a lengthy negotiation, I managed to get my parents to buy me this book. And then I had to, it's the sort of very broad stroke instructions at the front about how to do all grain brewing. And so I just made the kit out of, I didn't have any choice, no money. So luckily I did find in the junkyard at home a Burko boiler. And then my parents used to do wine and stuff, so they had a few brewing buckets and things. So they were delighted when I put two together and drilled a load of holes in the bottom of one. And I used to mash in and wrap it in an old sleeping bag that we called the dog blanket for obvious reasons, and it was very, very much rough and ready. But the first beer I brewed, and I put it into bottles probably, I can't quite remember, and I couldn't believe it when it was nice. And it's probably brewing's perhaps a bit like gambling. If you win, you get into it, and if your beer's nice, you probably get into brewing.
Yeah, one success and you're hooked.
Oh, that's that. You're hooked, yeah.
So then that began a long sort of interaction with brewing where it would ebb and flow, of course, over the years. Sometimes I go so over the top, ultra enthusiastic, and try and, even in those days, try and brew as many beers as possible to almost create a little pub at home, to have a Guinness, a Bass, a Boddington's, and all this sort of thing, maybe 5 beers on. And then inevitably I'd either sort of overdo it and get fed up, or I would have a series of disasters. And probably something you're all familiar with, that if you have some beers that are rubbish, cloudy, going off, or just not that nice, or whatever it is, you can lose enthusiasm. Yeah. And so then you get sort of periods of a year or two where you don't brew anything. But what I'd say about that is that the important thing, if you have a period like that where you're not so enthusiastic, or you can't do it, or you're busy, or whatever, is keep your kit, keep all your stuff, and then one day, out of the blue, you'll just think, oh, just fancy brewing something. And you could probably use all your older ingredients that you haven't chucked away from 3 years ago, because it doesn't matter if it goes wrong, and you're back on the horse. And then inevitably that first one will be nice again, because there's no infections lingering in your kit after a while, and you're back in business.
Would you describe yourself on a bit of a peak at the moment of sort of enthusiasm for the hobby?
I'd say it's just a full-bore midlife crisis, really. But, I've got friends that have bought push bikes. I even know some people that have bought motorbikes. I think frothing ale, and forcing everyone else around you to do so as well is a reasonably nice hobby to have.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm pretty keen at the moment.
Yeah. Very generous to share.
Am I slacking or perhaps talking too much?
No.
I've actually already cracked open the Frothson.
Mm.
Do you want to tell us a little bit? Well, maybe we want to come back to your homebrew story. So I feel like there's more to tell, Rich. But do you want to tell us a bit about Frothson?
Yeah, Frothson. Now then, I'm very excited about this beer. Had been from day one, and day one was Malt Miller Video, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. But if by any chance you don't watch the Malt Miller videos, they're absolutely excellent, and they go to breweries, large and small, and just deep dive into a particular beer. Usually, sometimes it can be really famous, like Tribute, and other times, and to my shame, in this particular case, I hadn't heard of this beer or brewery. Sure Shot's the brewery, and the beer's called Milson. And it's only in Manchester. It's only an hour up the road from me. And I thought that this was a terrible error on my part. And so Roz and I rectified that immediately, shot up to Manchester on the train, and stopped a lot of Milson going out of date in the brewery tap room. It was if you've seen the video of me drinking it in the tap room, got a beautiful Sure Shot glass with a massive domed head of froth on it, and it's just amazing when you smell it and everything. And I thought it was just a really nice beer, because there's hazy beers and there's hazy beers, and my personal preference is for something with a bit of bitterness in it. I think they can get a little a little bit, what would you say?
Flabby.
A bit sickly or what have you, if it's too sweet. So we need a bit of grape fruitiness, which this has certainly got.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
You need a bit of balance, don't you? I think in this beer style. Otherwise, it's just not sessionable, is it? But I think you're nailing that, mate.
Well, Andy's just put in the chat from Full Priest that Frothson's really close. When he came down to the brewery the other day, we opened a can of Frothson, of Milson, and we poured a glass of Frothson, and it is as close as you'd hope to get as a home brewer, which is fantastic, really. And a lot of this is to do with the quality of the information that comes from these malt miller videos, because it's they're not just sort of getting the recipe, writing it down in our scale and publishing it and selling a load of kits. They're really digging in to the process, the finer details, like I think, was it a 35-minute boil on this or something like that? Not 30 minutes or 40 minutes, but 35, because of the particular amount of caramelization from your element and all that sort of thing. And when you've got information like that coming to you, it's makes the job easy as a home brewer, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that we're trying to not impart too much colour, but also avoid DMS, right? And then sort of landed on this very specific timing. Of course, your mileage may vary depending on your kit, but
that's true.
It's another belter, though, isn't it?
That's I mean, we were all at Love and Beer, so we were able to try the Malt Miller's version, which they had on tap.
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we?
That's right. Yeah.
And from memory, which I might add is pretty hazy. It's very, very similar. So I think it's one of those recipes, one of those sort of homebrew conversions of a commercial beer that's really good, like really close to the original.
Yeah, it is. It's a good one, and there's many. I mean, for example, I mentioned Tribute earlier. Very good, very highly detailed video on that one. The brewery have given the recipe, but it's quite hard to get that one bang on. It gets really close, and it's really nice. But to actually get it so when you taste them side by side, you say, "Can I have a job tell the difference?" That doesn't normally happen with Tribute, I don't think. Not in my experience, anyway. Possibly because of their special yeast, I don't know. Yeah,
a certain je ne sais quoi that is just hard to replicate, isn't it? Especially from the very traditional breweries. Harvey's is another, where they open ferment. Do they open ferment Tribute?
I think so, yeah. And the other thing about that is, do you think it's easier to go to a brewery like Sure Shot, which is a smaller scale, or say Elusive, that kind of size, and take a recipe and scale that, than it is to a massive brewery like St. Austell, or because the size itself does something, doesn't it? It's for example, the pressure in the vessels, from the height of them, or the weight of the water, or what have you. Everything like that makes a difference, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Amount of time as well, transferring out of bigger systems as well. I think that's always a thing that's a bit overlooked for homebrew batches. Is and the Malt Miller have definitely talked about this at various points in quite a few of their videos. Actually, I think your typical Whirlpool time at commercial scale might be a certain amount, but then how long is it then to chill down and transfer, and how long is it actually exposed to the hops and all the rest of it? By the way, I did just pop a link for the Milson kit in the chat for anyone who's interested in jumping on that. Based on this, very much a worthwhile purchase potentially. The first one was a kit as well.
Sweet Release is a kit on the Malt Miller as well.
So two very decent potentially kits there for people to have a look at if you're into that.
These I think these are possibly the strongest candidates in the box, so I can't promise it'll all carry on so swimmingly.
It's a nice contrast with the first one, though, actually, because there's a real. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I get a nice sort of stone fruit, peachy, apricot kind of vibe off of this one, where the other one was a little bit more of a brighter tropical kind of fruit. And but yeah, both really nice in their own way. Super smashable as well. So
bags of grapefruit in the tongue as well, innit?
What yeast did you use, Bags?
Is it saturated? Just a minute. Yeah, saturated.
Yeah, it's good. It's got that like just that slickness, that soft pillowiness that kind of just comes with a
like a glycerol side.
Yeah, like the glycerol vibe.
Has to be the body's yeast for a Manchester brewery, though, doesn't it? That's like the law, I think.
Yeah.
Is that what that is then? Do you think?
Well, supposedly the London Ale Free strain, which, you know, probably an American thing calling it London Ale Free when it's supposed to be from Manchester, but you know, yeah, a lot of stuff online says that supposedly the body strain and saturated is supposedly their version of London Ale Free, but who knows really? But that's the kind of predominant.
Sounds like the right moment to morph into the Gulu story.
Oh, let's do it.
Have we provided an inadvertent segue there for you?
You have, because Boddington's. I went on an obsessive rabbit hole dive into Boddington's at one point, and looking up the Ron Pattinson stuff, decided to do the 1971 recipe for Boddington's, and one of the interesting things about that was it said attenuation was 90% at that time, from old brewery notes of the real Boddingtons of 1971. So I decided to try and find a yeast that would achieve that, and came up with this. I found this one, which is Omega Gulu, and this sort of morphed into me calling the beer the Boddington's Gulu. A slight tweak of the letters there, and the sort of characterful monsters here kind of inspired the much more friendly Gulu that you see on your t-shirts. It's probably a bit better on the back, but he's a friendly monster, and well, you can just imagine him. I can picture him, you see, in the advert for the beer. We'd be walking down the street, just a normal English street, and various people would just stop and speak to him, like, I don't know, the fisherman would say, "Oh, you're right there, Gulu." And the builder might say, "Hey up, Gulu, what are you doing here?" And then they'd go all the way to the pub, and he'd be presented with a massive pint of creamy, golden, delicious, handcrafted Gulu beer. And his tongue would just flop out of his mouth into his glass, and it would just go and down it all through his tongue. And I don't waste my evenings, you know, thinking about weird beery things.
Clearly.
Sounds like some sort of dream.
If I ever make it big time and we need a TV commercial, we won't need any of those agencies, will we?
We'll send you baggers.
So that's all it was, and this is it's a yeast with diastaticus, do you call it? I believe. And at the time when I did it, I didn't realise that was something that brewers are supposed to worry about. But I've learnt since that it's something you should worry about, because if this stuff stays around in your equipment, then beer can sort of slowly ferment in casks and blow the bung, or bottles and blow up and that sort of thing, because it just eats the sugars slow, the difficult sugars slowly, and things like that. But I must say I haven't had that problem, so hopefully I managed to wash the equipment okay in between batches. But it's an interesting yeast. But what you do get from the beer is a real flinty dryness. I think Roger Protz described Boddington's as having, and it's a unique character, I think, that beer should have, which basically dries your mouth and makes you desperate for more frothing ale. Yeah. And it becomes a sort of self-medicating elixir of golden froth that puts you right.
Is that right? Is that right? It sounds it. What yeast strain is that exactly? Is it Kvike strain? Is it?
It's a hybrid, isn't it? I think.
Quite. No, it says that it's a mixture of an Irish ale and a saison yeast that's been made non-phenolic.
Huh.
A beast at devouring wort sugars, 85 to 90% attenuation.
Yeah, big time.
So interesting yeast, not one I've never seen anybody else use it in my life.
No, that's an unusual
but
combination.
It is stocked at the Malt Miller.
Yeah.
Well, at least someone's buying it.
Yeah, exactly. I think it might be just me, to be honest.
Putting big orders. Oh, very good. Very good. So,
would I have been expelled there, Rich, if it was a Kvike from this?
Only if you were putting it into a lager. Then you would have been booed off the call straight away.
Yeah, Rich gets quite passionate about this subject, as you know. Yeah, you can't make a lager with Kvike and then call it a lager because it's not a lager.
It's not the dumb thing.
The WHC one that's Saccharomyces cerevisiae, but it's a lager. They say it's a lager yeast. Which one's that? I can't quite remember.
Oh, that's the Kolsch yeast, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a good rant about that on a video as well, didn't I?
Yeah. So. Blitz. Is it called Blitz?
Yeah, it could be Blitz lager. Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah.
How does that work then?
Well, I guess like a Kolsch is
the magic of marketing. I think that's how that works.
I mean, a Kolsch is technically a top fermenting ale yeast, but a Kolsch is technically a hybrid lager beer style, right?
Well, it's the beer that bridges the gap, isn't it, between lager and ale? Exactly. But it's certainly an ale. It's just perhaps treated like a lager for conditioning.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Kolsch.
I'm a big fan of
Cologne every year.
I think it's it's sort of, as you said, treated like a lager. It looks like a lager. It tastes a lot like a lager, but it isn't a lager.
And I believe Alt's the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
In from Dusseldorf.
Yeah. Been meaning to kind of get over to Cologne and Dusseldorf at some point and go and try out those beers.
They are good.
Have you been?
Yes, I go every year for a trade show, and so I've stopped a bit of Kolsch going out of date, and but I love the culture of it as well. The 200ml glasses, which are called Stanger. Yeah. And the tray that they bring them around in, which is called Krans. And there's also a certain etiquette to drinking in such a bar, which is brilliant, because your waiters, or I think you call them curbers, which is an old history of them being pilgrims and working their way on pilgrimages, but that's another story. But they have this culture where they're sort of our age, and they take the job very seriously, and they've got a certain zone in the bar that you can't speak to the wrong one and all that sort of thing. Well, what I've learned is that you must never ever ask for their attention. Certainly don't do anything like that. You don't really look them in the eye or anything. You go in and you sit down and you completely ignore them. And then they'll know that you're genuine, and they'll bring beer immediately. And they'll flop the beers down sort of as rudely as they can. But it's not them being rude, it's just them being serious about their work. And they get a beer mat very much like this, with a fairly blank back. And they get a big joiner's pencil and do 5-bar gates on the back of the beer mat. And you just leave that on your table. And then it's highly important that you must never ask for the bill, and must never ask for another drink. All you do is you finish your drink, and just sit in silence until they bring it, which they will do immediately. But if you ask them or try and get their attention, they literally can't see you. And then when you're finished, you don't sort of say, I want to pay or go and find them or whatever. All you do is you just get your glass and you do that, put it on the table, and then they'll come and take your money. Absolutely brilliant.
Amazing.
And the beer's delicious.
Thanks for the hot
in a
tip.
200 ml glass, because it's not highly carbonated as well. That's the other thing. It's poured straight from a barrel on top of the bar, and it's absolutely delicious, Moorish. And of course, the game then becomes filling the clock with 5-bar gates all the way around your beer mat in order to be released in an honourable fashion.
There's a whole new layer of ritual to that whole experience that I was totally unaware of, but I feel better prepared now if I do ever find myself in Cologne to deal with that.
I'm feeling like a THA trip is in order. To be fair,
we're gonna have to see it for ourselves to verify this information. Clearly,
we are.
Absolutely.
And
I'd be happy to act as a tour guide on that particular.
I was about to suggest the very same thing because you're clearly very seasoned in the etiquette of beer drinking in Germany.
In Cologne, particularly, lacking experience. In Munchen, I've only been once and briefly, and I'm eyeing up Bamberg. Actually, I quite fancy a trip east to see what's going on over there. So hopefully I can sneak that in one day and try this bacon beer.
The bacon beer. Have you been tempted to make a bacon beer?
I have made a Rauch beer on one occasion, in fact years ago, and it wasn't very popular.
I was going to say, how did that go down with the visitors?
The baconiness is interesting enough, isn't it? And perhaps you can overdo it. Perhaps you can. I don't think you can underdo it, can you? But the thing is, it's quite a sweet, malty beer as well, isn't it? And if you're a hop lover, it's probably not in your top 10 of styles, is it? But I do believe that if I go there, it will be pretty good. And yeah, Brett's just reminded me in the chat that he has included, I think, a smoked mild in my latest first aid box that he sent me. So I probably might get onto that later.
Complete with plasters as well?
Well, I think the liquid is all the elixir that you need for the particular medication that Brett had in mind. Anyway,
rehydration products, right?
They call that. Yeah, very good. Good on Brett. He's always another very generous beer mail.
Yes, a strong purveyor of beer mail.
Donator. Good man. Now,
I'm hoping he's still keeping up with us because I think he opened his first porter beer at about 4:00. So he's certainly
He'll be
enthusiastic.
Fine. He's
tonight.
A seasoned professional.
his robust porter.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice week one to just sort of get the ball rolling.
Yeah, he'll be fine. That's just a warm up for him. I think we decided to leave the porter beer and the what was the other beer you sent us in the bottle?
The Joey Pour.
Oh, the Joey Pour. Yeah, that might come out in the afters. To be fair, saving it for the
might
afters.
Very well do.
I just tricky. I just spotted that you had a beer that looked a little bit like it might have been brown.
Well, I did. Not quite brown, but it's definitely got a little bit more.
Not hazy.
More colour on it.
He's trotted on.
Can only mean one thing.
Gold glass. I'm nearly done here, so I'm also gonna crack the next beer.
Liam says he's on the Joy Pour already as well. Has it cleared though? Because it's bottle conditioned and it's been shaken up a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, good on him.
Well, the Blind Pig is very clear. That has got lovely clarity on it. and nice bit of kind of caramel colour. You can definitely taste there's a bit of a bit more malt complexity in this one.
Yeah, Baggers, have you ever had any beers from Russian River?
I haven't had that honour. No, I've never been able to find one here, and Roz has never taken me over to California, is it?
Add that one to the list as well.
Yeah.
Every time I write to Santa, I include things like this, but you know.
So this is another one that's available as a kit. Did you brew this from a kit, Rich, or was this you sort of reinterpreting the recipe at all yourself?
Yeah, I can't sort of do them directly from the kits because I'd have to buy 5 of them.
Oh yeah, of course. You'd slightly larger scale, of course.
But of course, this one's from the Modern Homebrewer book, which I think is probably that's the best in my view. That's the best homebrew book in these many years. Really, I think it's really good. It's really well written, and the recipes are really interesting. And all the ones I've done have worked perfectly as well. So it's a very and a nice balance of different styles and techniques and stuff. So I have brewed Pliny the Elder, and I've got a can or 2 of that left in the fridge, which is the perhaps possibly more famous Russian River beer that's 8%.
Yeah.
But that's looking quite good, isn't it now? Let's see if I can put a light.
It's very attractive. Yeah.
Very nice.
That's awesome. So they came in at 5.3%. I think the actual Russian River beer is a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah,
Did you intend for the beer to be a bit?
It just came out under a little bit, as did the Frothson. Actually, I think the Frothson's 0.2 under where it should be, but since it tastes so similar, then it's hardly worth mentioning. But this one's, I think, should be 5.6 or 7, shouldn't it? Something like that. And it's come out, or anyway, it's come out a touch weaker than it should do.
Nice. And I guess to be fair, when you kind of shoot for a bigger beer like that, I'm not always terribly disappointed if it comes out a little bit more sessionable.
That was my thoughts.
To be fair, the only issue I guess you need to watch out for is the kind of boogoo ratio. In terms of it ending up being a bit too bitter.
Well, this is it's been around for a bit in the kegs, and but about 2 weeks after I kegged it, this beer was unbelievable. I think it's nice. It's really nice now, but 2 weeks after I kegged it, it was amazing, like rind out of a marmalade jar, and oranginess at the beginning. Massive sweetness, and then really it just morphed straight away into a really long-lasting bitterness, really long till after you swallowed and everything, and then you couldn't just compute that in your mind, so you have to taste it again.
That was like the LC, was it the Love and Beer drink that we had last night? There was the can, and they had was it Chevalier malt or something? One of the kind of heritage malts, and it's like this. It's like marmalade sort of.
I bet that's the Red Willow one, is it? They do. They use Chevalier in these English IPAs and English hops like EKG, and aiming for marmalade flavour, and they can be very nice. I think they do one called Very English IPA.
Yeah,
I have to say, on the nose, that is right up my street. That is right up my street.
Yeah, real like piney, caramelly, old school.
Yeah,
westy,
like orange rind, marmalade.
Super toasty bready, sort of like the malt's just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, especially off the back of the 2 sort of hazy beers, the malt character really does, tickle your fancy on that one. Gotta say. That's lovely.
I haven't even tasted it yet, and that's going on the brew list right now.
It is a great recipe, and it's really interesting how much it has changed. Like I suppose it's the hops fading as they do, don't they? It's actually not unpleasant either way. When it's the chap from Heady Topper, the alchemist, he talks about how that beer evolves in its age, doesn't he? I've seen a video of him talking about that and how it's got particular qualities when it's young, and the hops fade a little bit, and it changes its qualities as it gets a bit older. Not necessarily for the worse, just changed.
It's just different.
So many hops in this, it's unreal.
There's a lot of hops in it, yeah.
Like different varieties, yeah.
You want to talk as
do you feel like the do you feel like the bitterness has toned down a little bit on this over time?
Yeah,
much as well?
probably a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. The hops are.
I've got it here. If you want, I can.
Yeah, fine. The traditional West Coast system of adding them at various different times as well, for that layering thing, and Pliny the Elder's similar, very complex then hopping schedule.
Yeah, it's like Chinook 60, Cascade at 15, Centennial 15. This is like
old school sea hops.
28. It's got Whirlpool of Amarillo, Cascade, Centennial, Crystal, Simcoe, all with varying different, 11 to 21 grams sort of thing. And then it's got flipping Amarillo CGX, Centennial, Citra Cryo, Chinook, Crystal, and Nectar on it. It's just like...
Oh, I remember reading this recipe, and there's just like that random little tiny addition of nectar on. You're like, what's that doing in there?
This is when you have to buy the kit, I think, for us anyway, because it's like, you know, if you were buying 100-gram baggies of all this, it would just be like, nah.
Correct. Vinny Salurzo is the man, isn't he? Russian River, and he's talked about both this and Pliny the Elder evolved over time.
Yeah. And
some of these hops didn't exist when this beer started because it's 25, 30 years old, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Nectaron, certainly. Citra didn't exist when this beer came out, but it's in the recipe now, and he says that's how he's evolved it. And it's just quite an interesting concept.
Yeah. He did the video of the Craft Beer channel, didn't he, where they did a like really in-depth breakdown of modern West Coast brewing especially as well, which is well worth going back to at some point. And I believe the beer that came out of that ended up as a Malt Miller kit as well, I think, probably. So but hope we're selling a few kits for you, Malt Miller guys.
Be rubbing hands tonight. I hope we're on commission, are we, for all these kits?
If only. No.
Yeah, need to negotiate that part of the deal, I think.
I mean, I think you lured us in. You teased us with saying that the two best beers were the first two, because this is by and far my favourite so far.
This is right on the street, isn't it, Owen?
Oh, love it. Absolutely.
I like the style of beer. And how often do you get such a beer nowadays? Actually, you get.
It doesn't happen.
This predates the thing where the hopping went mad, doesn't it? I think it is Vinny Salurzo that talks about lupulin threshold. What's the last word? Tolerance. That's right. Yeah. In other words, that these beers got more and more bitter, more and more hops as everybody tried to outdo each other on them. And people's actual tastes, in the way that perhaps you get used to chili, people got used to these hopping schedules, and then it kind of changed because people shifted to the New England ones, which are relatively sweet, really. And some people say that this kind of style, the old style Westie, is coming back.
What, more balanced?
I read an interesting story the other day about who's the other really like old school California Sierra Nevada.
No, all right, okay.
And they made their there's a beer they make called Bigfoot, which is a barley wine,
Oofed.
It's an American barley wine. And they had it sent off to the lab to be analytically reviewed. And they came back and said, your barley wine is too bitter. And they said, thank you. So I just thought that was quite an interesting kind of almost insight into the kind of the mindset of that era of brewing. Where it really
they were the original ones, really, weren't they, Sierra Nevada?
Yeah.
I think even in the 70s, I think they started.
Yeah. And I mean, they're still...
As soon as Cascade was invented, they got on it.
They're still making their flagship beer, right? Which is the Pale Ale, the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. And it is still, I would say, a beer that holds its own.
Yeah.
But beer definitely has, I think, lost that bitterness over time. But I actually really enjoy it.
Cheers.
Cheers, baggers.
Very
Great
easily
beer.
quaffable, once again.
Very quaffable. And I'm excited, actually, about the next beer, but I'm not going to spoil it. Rich, we didn't... I feel like we didn't quite conclude your backstory.
I know.
Well, I did miss a bit out in the late 70s. I fell into the cauldron as a baby. And so I'm actually not allowed any magic potion anymore, but sometimes sneak some in.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Because now when we're watching your videos, you're brewing on your kit now, which is because you're doing 120 litre batches, but it seems like you've got ample capacity to probably go more in that kit, I take it.
I push it. Its nominal capacity is 117.5 litres, which is an American barrel. And I've pushed it as far as I can, I think, now. So I write my recipes for 130 litres. And if I've got a good efficiency, I can squeeze a bit more out of it.
Yeah, because you add a bit of water as well, don't you? Sometimes you can...
Yeah. And because sometimes my mashes get very long, it's either because I'm busy pottering about in here, or that the Vorlauf, I just leave it for ages to get it to clear, or to and to heat up as well to 74, 75, and they can end up quite long, and then you do notice quite a good efficiency. Although everybody sort of says modern malts will convert in 20 minutes, don't they? So I probably should be a bit more disciplined on mashing and do it quicker. But
because are you just eyeballing your mash thickness as well? When I watch you, you're just like you seem to just put water. You put your water in, and then you add the malt, and then you keep splashing in until you feel that it's got that nice consistency. Is that how you're doing it?
It is, because I haven't sort of bothered to sit down with the software and work out the recoverable dead space and the thermal sink of the vessel and everything, and so I'll just get it to like a nice sloppy porridge consistency. But in that craft beer channel video we mentioned a little bit ago with Vinny Salurzo, I remember him saying it's really, really important to get the right water to grain ratio. It's really important. But Johnny never asked him what the secret formula was.
Because it was all
give us a number.
Because it was about how it dried out, wasn't it? But if it wasn't right, then it could go too dry, or there was some sort of reason for that, wasn't it? And it was to do with your finishing gravity, I thought.
Well, I mean, from what my limited research and knowledge on this subject, it's broadly speaking, you need enough water for your enzymes to move from one sugar to another and break them down. But if you have too much, they're too far apart and they never make it. And so that's how I imagine it in my head. So I try and aim for this particular consistency, but I acknowledge I've got probably learning to do on that, and both the water to grain ratio and/or the thickness, and in fact the discipline of the time of the mash, because if you want to churn out consistent beers, you can't just do it for an hour one day and 2 hours next time you brew it. I don't think, can you?
Because you don't also add the acid straight away, do you? When you mash in, you're not adding your acid at the start.
I've been thinking about that, and if I've done the beer before, I'll record what I added last time, and if I'm feeling confident, I'll stick it in.
Yeah.
And that does work quite well. And also, for the Gulu recipe, the Boddingtons, I use acidulated malt because it's old-fashioned. And that's really good. You don't have to add any acid. It just comes in at 5.2, bang on. So that's maybe that's the way forward, really. But I do worry about that sort of 10 to 15 minutes period where my pH is 5.7 or something.
Yeah, because that's what... Yeah, you tend to be quite high. Low, I would say. Is it low? It's way up there anyway with your pH.
My pH is always high, unless it's a darker beer and it tends to come down a bit. And that's with RO water. But if I use my tap water, it'd probably be over 6, I should imagine.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, cool. I've got learning to do on these things, definitely.
I thought it was interesting. You were talking about how your rim system as well. Like, you don't want to use your rims if it's like quite a low temperature because the protein sticks to it and stuff like that. Yeah. So you have if your wort
looks milky, i.e. white, with those sort of below 60 degrees proteins, they'll wreck an element in seconds. And you can mitigate it by having a higher flow rate. But to what extent can you have a high flow rate through a mash? At some point it sucks it down and it just kills it tightens up and it slows down and then it singes again anyway.
Who was it? I think it was I remember Liam at Sunbury, and he was doing a Pilsner and he was doing a step mash on it, and I remember he ended up, it was a Brutals I think he was using at the time, and it ended up wrecking his element and he couldn't understand why. But there you go, that's why, because the temperature's so low and it's dead milky that the proteins just basically stick to it. Yeah. Yeah,
it's like the powder, that the dust that you get on you when you pour the malt from the sack, that's effectively just going like almost electrostatically clinging to the element and immediately singeing.
Yeah, the couple of times I've done like protein rests on a step mash, it's like freaked me out because I'm thinking I've done something horribly wrong here, because it's gone like pure milk white coloured, and it's like, what's happening? I've never seen it turn that colour before, but yeah, it's quite dramatic. Luckily I've, in my system there's no exposed element to the work whatsoever, so it doesn't cause a problem for me at all.
It's a Herms, isn't it?
Yeah. So through the Herm system, it's absolutely fine. And before that,
I've never had the issue either.
Or even if it does go, through the kettle, I've got the induction plate, which is better for that. So it's less likely to scorch, even if some of that would go through to the kettle. So yeah.
Yep.
I have had a few brews scorch, and you've got about 5 seconds when you can smell it to stop it, that you can get away with. After that, the whole beer, you may as well just chuck it away immediately before you waste any hops.
That is one of those fatal off flavors, isn't it? Scorched malt is not going anywhere once it's in the beer.
It's like an ashtray in every sip. And I tried persisting with one particular beer in the early stages of this recent enthusiasm, and it was a mistake, and I wasted a lot of hops on it. So it's annoying, but the first loss is the best loss in brewing. And there's not many occasions where you wonder whether you should chuck a beer away and you keep it and you think, yeah, I did the right thing.
So we were talking a little bit about the brewing journey before, and obviously part of that is the epic setup you've got in the background there. How far along that journey did you decide, like, I'm going to basically use a whole, presumably sort of barn type structure for my brewery / bar area. And how long has it taken for you to get from, like deciding to use that space to where you are now? Because it looks like there's been quite a bit of work put into it over the years.
Well, yeah. So I used to brew in more modern times than the old days. I used to brew here in the kitchen and 50-litre batches. Then with 3 vessels, sort of not a homemade system as such, but 3 vessels and gravity actually. Then a pump for the final knockout, and the difference or the improvement in the quality of one's marriage when you move brewing out of the kitchen into the shed is this is groundbreaking.
Yeah,
and
sticky floors.
I have got a certain amount of how should we put it, of an undisciplined nature when it comes to being careful about spilling things when brewing, and this didn't tend to go down very well with Ros, and I think the final straw was when I'd left the heat exchange, one of those Blinkman heat exchangers, and the water pipe had burst off it, and I must have been distracted for half an hour, and the kitchen was about 3 inches deep in water.
Oh no!
It's a bit like Paddington 2 when he comes down the stairs in his bath. And,
so you flooded the house? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I may have dampened the kitchen floor on that occasion. And notwithstanding the fact that I brew all this beer and Ros drinks it, this was a step too far, and I was expelled from the kitchen.
Quite right.
Where did you go after that, Rich?
Well, a couple of... So then... So perhaps had a quiet couple of years on the brewing, put the stuff in the shed, perhaps got it out when Ros was out, and that kind of thing, sneaked to brewing. But a couple of years ago, on the Malt Miller website, they've got the SS Brewtech 3-vessel system, quite similar looking to mine. Mm-hmm. I've been slobbering over that for a while, looking at on the website. And one day I saw this particular one I've got on eBay, secondhand. Chap in the Isle of Wight bought it from China. It's not an SS Brewtech one, and he wanted to get rid of it, and it was what I thought was a reasonable price, and I just bought it on a whim. And I thought I'll put it. I've got a couple of old, fairly tatty stables, and I thought I'll put it in there. And but I thought I'll have to put a new floor in and stuff first, perhaps with a floor drain and smarten it up a bit. So I put it in here temporarily. This is supposed to have my tractor in and things. When we built this shed, we put a badminton court in it, and then later we put a multi-gym and stuff in it, and then finally we found a use for it with brewing. And temporarily.
It's always wanted to be a brewery.
Because the apparatus was temporarily put in here, I couldn't resist plugging it in and having a go. And then I realised that I'd have to buy some fermentation vessels and so on, which they've all come from the Malt Miller, and then cooling system and so on. And the operation expanded. And then I realised that when your neighbours and friends are coming around, it's quite nice if you can have a drink and look at the brewery, next to the brewery, isn't it?
Yeah.
Loads of real breweries do it with tap rooms, don't they? When you can sit amongst the vessels, it's very atmospheric. And we all know that atmosphere and setting and weather and things like that and music and what have you, they all contribute to how nice your beer is. So these things are very important. So anyway, and then I think perhaps had a series of sort of accidental big goals that pushed me to do bits and pieces in the brewery. I think my daughter's 18th was possibly one of them, and then I built the bar. Just built it myself out of some simple wood and stuff. And then later, my son's 21st, thought, I've got quite a lot of beer here. If a keg goes in the kegerator, I'm going to have to put a warm one in it, and then it'll be fizzing all over the place, and it'll be horrible. So I better build a cool room. And everything sort of snowballed a bit, really. But
so it can get worse.
It is, I've got my own den in here, and to a certain extent, it's sort of do it first and then apologise afterwards, rather than seek permission like one might have to do in the house.
Yeah. And how often does your wife see you? And do you have a bed in there?
Again, this is another contributory factor to a happy marriage, isn't it? To never see it. I mean, to have your own space.
That's exactly what I've got here. Yeah.
When there was a moment of flashback, actually, when you were telling that story, Rich, when I asked, I think I asked your wife Ros about, how do you put up with Rich always being out in the brewery. She said, as long as he's not in my kitchen. And your story about flooding the kitchen suddenly makes a lot more sense with her comment. Yeah.
We don't mention kitchens within Ros's hearing, because there's a briefly touching on the expense of all this stuff. There's sometimes a debate about priorities of where the allocation of capital expenditure should fall.
Yeah.
And there's a current, how should we put it, debate about the fact that the kitchen's 20 years old and it's shit because I fitted it and it was a focused DIY chipboard thing, and so on. So we don't mention the kitchen if we don't have to.
Depends, if you want something else for the brewery, then there can be a bit of a trade goes on as well.
There's a quid pro quo thing going here.
Well, we did sort of briefly mention, whether to put a little kitchen in the brewery, and that was had a Vesuvian effect on
the bargaining. Yeah.
Oh, you were feeling brave that day.
Yeah, so I'm pushing for an outdoor kitchen at the moment and getting a similar resistance.
Yeah,
so
I think you know the price that has to be paid.
Yeah, well, perhaps so. Yeah, I'll have to think of what the next phase is and then negotiate. Trouble is, every year when I delay, kitchens go up, don't they? Disproportionately, I think. So I'm perhaps digging myself into a hole.
You know it's happening. It's just when.
There are marks on the Milson, so we better progress, had we?
Better crack on, yeah. Right. Next bit. Hold on. Are we not going to the commercial break?
We're doing a commercial break.
We're definitely doing a commercial break.
Oh Jesus!
But given
whose idea was that?
Given that we have started the Milson, should we have the Milson? We'll have the commercial break.
Yeah, let's do the Milson first. Yeah.
All right.
And then we can have the second commercial break before the Spruce.
Some obscure commercial beer outside. I don't know if I've got much.
Yeah. I mean, I've managed to find one.
It might be something strong, unfortunately.
Yeah, mine's very strong, actually. I'm not anticipating being particularly articulate in the next hour and a half.
I know it's not going to fill it, but I'm going to have to make use of the Wheatlow glass on this one.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing the Wheatlow glass. I love a Milson. Talk us through it then, Rich. What was the inspiration?
This is the recipe of famous homebrewer Lance Blackman.
Hey,
beautiful colour. Look at that.
Legend.
This is going to be my next brew. Not this specific, because I don't have Lance's recipe, but I think I was going to do Chris's one. But then, what'd you call it? Changing some of the crystal malts to actual authentic German malts. But yeah,
like Caramunics.
Yeah, Caramunics.
That's a good shout, mate. Yeah.
Ease back on the quantity of it as well, in my humble opinion. Having just put a recipe done, a beer made to that similar recipe in a competition as a Bock rather than a Märzen, and it doing quite well.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I would agree. Is Lance in the chat? I don't know if he is in the chat. I mean, we've got 68 people following along with the live stream, which I think, quick celebration, is a record.
I mean, that's a record smashed completely, I think, there, isn't it?
Which is amazing.
I believe Rich may have brought a few people along to the party tonight.
It seems
groupies.
Well done. You brought the Baggaley army.
Make sure you follow the pod and subscribe on the YouTube channel, guys. You can find us on Spotify and all the other podcast platforms as well in the edited form. Minus all the farts and burps. Well, not so much these days because I can't be bothered editing it out anymore.
Shoddy nowadays.
The levels might be a little bit more balanced, but that's about it.
I have to say, this is a great segue from the Blind Pig.
Yeah,
it's almost like a similar sort of got a kind of
bready
maltiness to it, but obviously a different style of beer.
Yeah,
clean up.
That's quite good actually that they've worked together, isn't it? Because sometimes if you go from a hoppy beer to a Märzen, it can be a bit all malt, can't it?
Yeah, no, that was a good transition there. Definitely.
Talk us through the beer, Rich.
Well, I've never brewed a Märzen before. I'm not quite sure how we got to, in fact, I am. I can remember, I think I just commented on one of Lance's posts where he'd put a picture of this on his Facebook page, and he had just offered to send me the recipe. And the salient feature of this beer is that it's got this bark malt in it, B-A-R-K-E.
I've been trying to find this.
Malt Miller sell it. I'm sure you'll be amazed to hear that they stock it. And it's bark. So bark is a breed of barley, I think, isn't it? Like Maris Otter is and that sort of thing. So it's a heritage malt from Germany. And so I think Munich malt is actually the largest quantity. Let me open the recipe. So Munich 1, Wehrmann Bark Munich 1, 34%. Wehrmann Bark Pilsner 27, Wehrmann Bark Vienna Malt 20.
Wow.
Percent. So
is there any crystal?
Cara Hell, Cara Red, Cara Munich 2. They're quite a complicated malt bill. Again, it's a triple decocted effectively because my saucepan's too small. It has to be. It's probably more than triple. And it's 14 litres the saucepan is, and what's the rule of thumb? Is it a third you're supposed to take out?
About a third, yeah.
And so that's probably a sixth. But the smell of the decoction on this was just amazing, and it was just pure wholemeal bread.
Yeah,
absolutely, like fresh wholemeal bread crust and fresh wholemeal bread flesh as well. And I think it's just and this wouldn't be the kind of beer that I would gravitate towards naturally, because of the maltiness and lack of hoppiness and that sort of thing. A Bock would be too far for me, but this one I'm quite enjoying. I appreciate, after smelling the decoction and that wholemeal breadiness, I sort of really appreciate it now in the glass as well. And
you know the effort that goes into making a really complex but clean lager. And just out of interest, do you think that decoction is worth the squeeze?
Yeah, I do. I do think it's. What I haven't done is done the same beer and decocted it and not decocted it and done a side by side. And really, to be objective, you should do that, shouldn't you? To convince yourself. but the smells that come off
Just took-
the beer, the mash when you decoct it is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so I ended up decocting every Oktoberfest beer, all 5 of them, including the Weiss beer, the Schneidered Weiss. And so I did a lot of decocting during this Oktoberfest run-up, but really enjoyed it because the smells are amazing. And also, the Weyermann's floor malted Pilsner smells amazing, honey, white bread, that kind of thing. But when I used a normal one for the Dutch Pilsner, like I can't remember, Muntons or Simpsons, probably Simpsons, it still smelled nice, but it doesn't smell as nice as that Weyermann's floor malted Pilsner. Yeah. And I think that's a window into malt quality when you do that as well.
It definitely brings something. One of the listeners asked about how long's a triple decoction brew day. It's about a 3-hour mash, isn't it? You said in one of your videos, basically. So instead of an hour, it's sort of...
It's probably, I think some of my normal mashes are 3 hours by the time it's boiling. So I think 8 till 12, so 4 hours probably. Partly because I haven't got enough oomph in my burner to prorata to the batch size. I mean, it'd be brilliant to have some super duper plant with a separate lauter tun and mash tun and a steam heated thing and everything. That would be amazing, but that's something that one can only dream about. But I don't mind the long brew day. It doesn't bother me really.
Well, if
I wasn't actually brewing, I'd be in here doing something brewing orientated. So it doesn't actually make any difference.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, you're obviously sold in the first instance of trying decoction to then go, I'm going to do it another 5 times.
Yeah.
I mean, personally,
definitely.
I believe in it. Like I've experienced doing it and not doing it, and admittedly not side by side with the same beer, but I think it's worth the effort. Although I've never done a triple decoction, I've done a double decoction, and I'm more recently leaning more towards single decoction, just in the interest of time efficiency.
Yeah, same.
I think it all will impart a flavour, won't it? And it'll all help, and tremendous satisfaction to you as a brewer to just smell that process. I think, if you like, you believe in the beer and take extra care with it after that because you've had that snapshot of how delicious it's going to be.
Yeah, totally.
Sarah, my wife, she absolutely loves it because it's like you're saying, it goes back into the kitchen, it goes in the middle burner and the gas, the big one, just to make sure it gets a good boil on the old soup pots I use for that. But yeah, the house smells incredible when you do a decoction.
Can't beat it.
Yeah,
I think it sort of almost like brings you closer as well to the brewing process. It really feels like you're kind of getting involved, and
it's a very tactile thing, isn't it? Because you really have to get stuck in mixing it and stirring it round to stop it scorching, and you're getting it back into the tun and everything. Or ladling it back in probably.
With that. Never scorches, even if I just leave it.
To be fair, I stir it anyway, but I've never felt like it's really getting close to the point of scorching for me either. So I'm almost at the point now I'm kind of like, oh, maybe I'll just leave it a little bit longer because I kind of want a little bit of that sticky caramelization on the bottom to sort of actually happen rather than trying to, keep whisking it around as fast as possible to stop that. I feel like that's probably where you really are getting that Maillard sort of, melanoidins forming properly when you almost are getting a little bit of actual caramel kind of forming on the bottom of it. But obviously it's very, if that is starting to happen, you probably are quite close to the point where it might then go too far and start going a bit blacker and more scorched. So
I think if you're having to deglaze the pan, you might have gone a little bit too far.
Yes, indeed.
But Going back to that earlier thing that we mentioned, where if you're doing your step mash at say 54, your wort's all milky, and I said it would scorch my elements. So I just can't or won't do that because I just don't want that horrible burnt flavour. So I actually, if I want to do a step mash, then I can't. I just do it. That's really what a decoction mash is, isn't it? In the old days, if you wanted to heat it up, you'd take some out and boil it in your cauldron somewhere, and that's all I'm doing. It's the easiest way to heat it up, because that's all you're trying to achieve is the next phase, the next step in that step mash, isn't it?
We've talked about this a bit before as well, though, in terms of sort of saying that, you know, just because you're decocting the mash doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a protein rest, because that's kind of, you know, for the under-modified malt specifically, whereas you can still get the benefits of the decoction in terms of the melanoidin formation by just doing a decoction later on and just having it either as a step from, you know, like 62 up to 70, or from a single infusion temperature to mash out if you're doing a single decoction, and you can still get some benefits there and not have to worry about that whole kind of like, you know, I'm going to do, you know, 3-4 steps temperature up, including a protein rest. So obviously you kind of end up doing a step mash by default when you're decocting, but I think it's not necessarily, you know, it doesn't have to be a full sort of multi-step mash, does it?
I was reading about that. Is it Hotchkirk step mash, simpler one?
Yes,
which I think 62 and then 68 or 72 or something.
So that's quite a nice easy one to do a single decoction with, isn't it? Because you can just do pretty much hit that kind of temperature fairly naturally by doing a decoction from 62 and up. Or the other example of maybe a 65 or 67 up to mash out, and I think that's probably the easiest way to try it out for people. So I think people should just give it a go, because I feel like it's value.
I don't think it's that hard, really. I mean, how hard is it to get a jug, stick it in your mash tun, scoop a couple of jugs out into a saucepan, boil it, and then pour the saucepan back?
Well, the reason it took me so long to give it a go, and this is no, you know, certainly not throwing any shade on the malt miller at all, but the recipe kit for their Budvar clone, pretty much my first sort of, you know, research into it at all was kind of reading the instructions on that kit and just going, oh my god, it's like 2 different sort of heaters going on at the same time, and you're like aiming for 2 different temperatures to mix it back in. No, you know, they were trying to emulate as close as possible the Budvar process, which, as we were talking about earlier, is part of the reason why the kits come out so well, because they're going down to that level of detail. But as a, you know, first introduction to decoction mashing, it was frankly slightly terrifying, and I was kind of like, I left that kit for about a year basically before I ended up making it, because I was kind of like, not sure I'm ready to do that.
They had Redeem on, and he was saying basically you just need to do it once.
Yes, no, exactly. And he sort of said, well, do the simpler version, and you'll still get value from it. Yeah. And
at homebrew level,
and that's basically what I ended up doing. So I think when I did do the Budvar kit, I kind of went for a 2-step decoction, and, you know, just tried to make it as simple as possible. And yeah, it's not, once you've done it, you go, oh, actually, it's not as difficult as I thought it was. So, with my setup, it's actually really easy, because I literally can just transfer from the Herms mash tun into the kettle, because it's on the induction plate, and I can just, you know, decoct in there and chuck it straight back in. So it's easy. Yeah. And Reiki says he has a new method that he hopes to show soon. So I'm looking forward to that.
Reiki's going to end up... Reiki was talking about this last night. He was saying what he does is he takes... I think he takes the 2/3 of the mash off out of a G40,
right,
and puts it into a cool box or something, and then he then uses the G40 then.
And then just carries on boiling, and no, that makes sense.
But I would worry if the bottom plate of the G40 would like end up a mess, and then you end up screwing the element on that, or if you've got a brew tools, would it start sticking to the element on that? And It'll be interesting to see how he works it.
Mark's asked if I have a video on that. Not yet. Might be the next one in the schedule though, so stay tuned.
So Ricky can show us how it goes. But yeah.
Right, Rich, are you ready for your commercial break?
Jeez.
Well, I've got a beer. Yeah, I had to go exploring in the garage because I wasn't expecting to do a commercial, but I found something.
Does it begin with T?
Better chug this. Who? What?
Yeah, your commercial.
My commercial?
Yeah.
No? Why?
I was just thinking, is that another track beer?
Oh, I see where you're going. No,
Yeah.
I haven't drank all of them.
They're gone. Fair enough. Good.
All right, Rich, you want to lead us in? What have you got for your...
I do, actually, because I'm particularly excited about this brewery. And it's not one I've heard anybody mention.
Wow.
And I've come across this brewery because my nephew, Joe, and his friends go and stay in a place in deepest, darkest South Wales. And near to the holiday cottage, there's a lovely brewery called Bluestone. And they're a small brewery, and they've got a lovely little tap room. And this particular beer, although they're often all nice, is 4.2% hazy pale ale, double dry hopped.
Yeah, not a brewery I'm familiar with either. I've not seen those before.
And rather like Baron, for example, they list the hops and, in fact, the yeast on the side of the cans. And that's always a winner with me because I just think it's absolutely brilliant when breweries do that.
Nerdy bits. Yeah. Oh, look at it. He's...
So, of course, I've got the correct glass.
Oh, you even got the glass. Wow.
So, this particular one...
Yes, we are, Owen.
Flipping heck. I'll still got
bring my glasses.
Milson to go.
Yeah, you'll have to smash that down, son.
So this is...
Chug.
This says barley, wheat, hops and yeast, Pembrokeshire spring water, and then it says Sabro and Citra and saturated yeast. So what could go wrong with that?
Sabro,
sounds good so far.
And saturated yeast.
Mm.
Sunscreen.
Touch of the coconut.
Yeah.
But
I love
certainly
that.
Frothy.
Yep.
Frothing ale.
That's what he likes.
They do lots
Nice
of
and
interesting beers. I'm a big fan, but I've never heard anybody in our sort of enthusiastic craft beer world talk about them. So I decided that's what I would like to do. Hence why I insisted on a commercial break. Plus the fact that 6 little children's cans is not sufficient for esteemed company that we're in. So we need further froth to enhance the job.
That beer's amazing.
It's delicious.
Nice.
I've never used Sabro, actually.
Have you not?
No. But I've used her daughter.
Talus.
Talus, of course, recently with Andy. And that's what I love about just doing some kind of just going off on a particular deep dive into anything really, any beer. You just learn something about perhaps one. For example, the Märzen, I learnt about the bark malt, and in fact the style Märzen I've never done before. And then on the Four Priests Mergy, it's nice to learn about Talus, which is very distinctive hop.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And you can tell that it's related to Sabro, can't you?
Yeah,
you can. Yeah, I'd say it's subtly different, but it definitely has the same characteristic about it.
Is Talus got sort of
there's
kind
a
of like
woody, herbally kind of thing, isn't it?
with Talus.
Mark Colwell says cedar.
Yeah,
cedar, sage.
Mm-hmm. There's like a kind
it's not as coconutty, Talus. Talus is a bit more fruit forward. I think. I think
Sabro's like
more coconut
sunscreen.
forward.
It's like you put it all over and you can just get that whiff of sunscreen, sort of tangerine orange, sort of coconut thing going on.
I personally, my preference is like Talus over Sabro.
Oh, I'm a Sabro man.
Oh, but I think Sabro you've got to be like super careful with. You're talking like a 10%
Really?
ratio to your overall hop.
It's in my latest IPA that I just did.
Depends how much you like Sabro. Some people love it.
Was it Mosaic?
But it's very
Sabro?
dominant.
Yeah. Ah, yeah. It's great.
Excuse me.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
So what are you
are they
drinking?
Neo Mexicana. Sorry, just geeking out on the
both
hops.
of
Yeah.
them. Neo Mexicanus. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it's
they're like a separate subspecies, aren't they? Out of
Yep.
southern states of
Mexico.
America and Mexico, New Mexico sort of area. Unsurprisingly, given the name.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah. Next,
Next.
who's next
Can I
on
go?
the froth?
I'll go. I have got a Lip and Beer one, and it's from our good friends at Bull House, Tom.
Oh yes.
Tom's beer with
nice.
Howling hops. Oh my goodness, this beer is amazing. It's
It's
like
a fresh hop beer, isn't it?
yeah, it's wet. What they call wet hop?
Yep.
Wet hop. So GX Strata wet hop, and then 3-2-1 crush. It is just like a medley of tropical fruits, man. It's just like, and then it's kind of West Coast in style, because like Tom always brews like super drinkable, sort of like nice, sort of that sort of. You know, we were talking earlier about how when you have a beer and then it just dries your mouth and then you just want to go back in for more. That's like, I think that's Bull House all over. Nice, good bit of bitterness. That sort of kind of 0.7, 0.8 Boogo type thing. And just loads of great malt backbone, but then like just juice on the... yeah, it is... Really, really nice. Great beer. I don't know. It's just like I would call this like a super modern West Coast. If I was to style it, it says it's a pale ale, but I suppose because of the ABV's 5.3, but it's got loads of hop character as well, and just like a good done to bitterness. But yeah, that is
Nice.
what
Very
I've
good.
got.
I think I had that one at Love and Beer. Is that the one?
Yeah.
That was really nice.
I had it as well when we were down there. I had, and it was great. But yeah, it's really impressed with that. It's nice.
Cool. I'll jump in. So I had to go digging in the garage. You know, when you're sort of like looking around for bottles in amongst the stuff that's
Export stout.
a bit too strong to be drinking. And
Yeah.
I think this one got hidden behind a few impies that have been in long-term storage. Because I didn't realise they even had this, but it's it's a cup. Is
that not an afters beer?
It's got the bottling date on it. It's the 9th of the 2nd, 23. So it's a couple of years old. So I didn't intend to keep it that long. But it's one of the Colonel's sort of beers that they brew to trad recipes, hence the London 1890s. I think it's an actual, the base recipe is from an 1890 stout recipe. 7.4%. They tend to put some more modern hops into them though. But because this is so old, I think that any of that kind of like modern hop character has kind of disappeared. Great froth on it though. Look at that. It's got really nice, almost sort of nitro-like head on it.
It didn't explode though, did it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
That's good because the bottle conditioners don't.
Yeah. And it's just got a really deep, rich kind of chocolatey coffee, kind of roasty nose on it. All malt. No hops, unsurprisingly after that long, but yeah, great mouthfeel. Quite got a bit of poke to it at 7.4%, but
Bitter?
Yeah, it has got a bit of bitterness to it. I think they're, again, those sort of more old school sort of stout and porter recipes they use tend to have quite a high hopping rate on them and fairly high bitterness. But yeah, it's sort of smooth, quite smooth kind of bitterness on there. Really nice. I'm blown away actually just how good the sort of like head retention and the creamy head is on that. It's
yeah. That's bottle carbonation though, isn't it? That's what you get.
There's just a little hint of kind of like dark fruit on there as well, but mostly just the sort of really sort of nice, rich, roasty coffee, dark chocolate. It's delicious. I mean, I know I really like the Colonel's sort of old school porter and stout beers that they do like this, but yeah, actually, from the looks of it, sitting a few of these bottles to the side and letting them age for a bit is not a terrible idea either, even if you do it by accident, like I have. So, yeah,
Malt
nice.
did a video recent, didn't he, on the porter? Was it Rob and Stiffy?
Yes, yeah, and I think that they were that was done
like,
from a recipe out of the same sauce that the Colonel uses for a lot of these beers.
One of the was it London Brew Clubs or something like that?
Yeah, there's I forgot what it is, something like Durden Park or something.
That's that, yeah.
Are you aware of that, Rich? Do you know of the?
No, that was new to me on Sunday's video, and I haven't looked it up properly yet. But I will have to try that recipe because it's porter beer.
Porter, yeah, it was proper. Because what was it? Porter used to just be all brown malt, was it, or something like that?
Yeah, brown malt was the thing for porter, wasn't it? Some kind of tax break or something. But apparently, it's got no conversion power. Is it diastatic power? Is that the right word?
Right. Yeah.
It can't convert stuff, or it's not very good at that kind of thing. Brown malt.
It's Durden Park Beer Club or Beer Circle or something. I found a website
Well done.
that's got some of these old school recipes on it. I don't know if one of these was the one that was it Whitbread's London Porter they did for the
1850 London Porter.
Yeah, it's this one. I've got it. I found it. Hurrah!
It looked amazing, to be fair.
Here you go. Anyway, there's a link.
And we know Rob likes his porters.
It does, aye.
But yeah, I recognise a few of these from other Colonel beers, so definitely.
Yeah, because they had the
one
porter
of their
on
sources,
it.
I think.
Was it Love and Beer? They had a porter on tap as well. Malt Miller did. That was nice.
That was the box kit that they have, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
The one at Love and Beer.
Yeah, I think Graham Hughes took one of them home.
Is it liquids? Like
No,
or it's like a all grain.
It's an all grain box kit. I think Stiffo and Reiki might be in the chat, so I'm sure they're gonna hit us up with that info.
No.
But yeah, you got to love there's got to be some respect for the old school styles, you know,
Twilight
or
Wraith.
at least replications of those old school styles, because they were popular for a reason, right?
I went round Burton Bridge Brewery the other day, and Burton Bridge Brewery is one of the old microbreweries that's still going. It was actually founded, I think, in the 80s. Fantastic brewery, makes delicious traditional cask ale, but it also rescued the museum brewing company when Bass and whoever subsequently owned it basically shut it. And they've rescued all that, and they do a lot of work in resurrecting old beers and that sort of thing. And there's one or two breweries that do that kind of thing. Kirkstall's another one, I think, isn't it? But Burton Bridge Brewery, absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed going around there, and they're doing a lot of good work on that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there's so much like heritage to be had, and I think if we don't respect that, it kind of just gets lost to the annuals of time, doesn't it?
A lot of the stuff that I really like doing as a brewer is resurrecting something that's either been ruined, for example, Boddington's, lost, or forgotten about, or in fact, like Blind Pig, something that's just not available here. Because any sense that we can't have it just increases the fervour for having it, doesn't it? So it's brilliant to resurrect these things and get them going again. So I've got a few more on the list. I've got one coming up, which is a beer called Ward's Bitter. Ward's was a brewery in Sheffield, and it was in the 90s. It was bought by Vaux, and then they lost interest and basically demolished it and sold it for housing in 1999. And but Ros did a nursing training in Sheffield, so we stopped a lot of Wards going out of date for a couple of years at that time, and I absolutely loved it. It's just a nice Yorkshire bitter, had a real Burton snatch to it, sulphury sort of aroma, and I've recently tried to recreate that. So that's just an example of a recent project of that nature.
Burton snatch is an interesting terminology.
Well,
do you want to explain that for the listeners?
So the Burton snatch is basically when your beer smells of sulphuriness, egginess, rotten eggs, whatever, that kind of sulfur dioxide, is it? Anyway, sulphury smell. And the Bass and Pedigree, particularly Pedigree in more recent years, was famous for the Burton snatch, and Burton water, of course, very high in gypsum and sulfates as a consequence. And but I'll tell you what's interesting, and I'm seeking advice on this matter, is I've desperately trying to get this property into these beers, for example, Bass, and latterly this Ward's Bitter, and I'm just not succeeding. How do you actually create sulphur when you want it? Because I think it's something that most brewers are trying to get rid of, for example, in lagers. So this Ward's Bitter, I found a yeast, a slope from Brew Labs called a Yorkshire yeast, and it said it's got properties of bringing out sulphur. I obviously did a massive Burton water profile, over 600 parts per million sulfates. And I think this is possibly what gives these beers other properties of a laxative nature, that they have a high mineral content.
Yeah,
basically just putting Andrew's liver salts into your beer. But anyway, so how do you create the Burton snatch when you want it? There's a joke there somewhere, I'm sure, but how do you do it?
Definitely a few innuendos to be had. No idea. I mean, I would imagine a majority of it, and you've already experimented, is with the water profile. But I suspect it might be something to do with the yeast choice, and perhaps even maybe the way in which you're fermenting.
I think that's what I've got. The yeast, I've got the salts. It must be you need an open fermentation or something like that, or a stressed fermentation, or
something in that realm.
A cold fermentation. What might it be? Something like that.
Is that not something that the Burton Union setup that you've got can contribute to at all, or you've not found that presumably to be the case?
I haven't. What I've found with that, for example, with Bass, is that you get the sulphuriness. You can smell the sulphuriness when it's young, and it's in early fermentation. It just cleans it up.
Interesting.
And this is a divisive thing amongst drinkers, because some drinkers love it. They think it's character. They think it's alive and it's natural and it's ephemeral. It's changing from batch to batch and all that sort of thing. Other people just think it's going to give them diarrhea because it smells like that, and they hate it, and they think it's a fault basically, and possibly it is. But it's much revered in some circles, I think.
For temperature control?
I'm not sure I've really drunk much in the way of traditional cask English ale that is really sulphury.
Was that a thing in the summer when they didn't have temperature control in the Union, and then temperatures went a bit high?
Could be that it went high. Perhaps that's a possibility, because it did ebb and flow anecdotally in these beers, and modern breweries they just don't want it. They've just eliminated it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I can't recreate it. I'm trying to brew an old beer and I can't recreate this particular.
I mean, yeast companies like Laumann are literally hybridizing yeast to completely eliminate sulfur production completely, aren't they? So
could be that as well, and it could literally be that the yeast's been improved too much. Which is why I picked an old slope from Brew Labs. Thought, or maybe if nobody wants it in commercial production, maybe that's the key.
You just need to treat it really bad.
Yeah, maybe so.
Abuse it.
Abuse that.
Abuse it. Oh, very good. Right. I'm going to cover off my commercial and then we can get back to...
Have you finished it, Erin?
No, not yet. I've not really drunk very much of it at all, actually. I was having a little wee break and I had to get the dog up here and various things anyway. But aside from that, my commercial beer is from a brewery from a country I've never drunk a beer from. It's a country I've never been to. It's a brewery from Romania.
Oh, not Scotland.
Not Scotland. No, I have drunk beer in Scotland. It's Beretta Brewing Co., who are based in Romania. It's not often you hear about craft brewing in Romania. This is an imperial stout, which is called Sneakers, which would make sense because, and it will make sense. It's sense. Did I just say sex? That was a bit weird. It will make sense in a minute because it's an imperial milk stout with cacao nibs, peanuts, and caramel.
Oh, baby.
So hence the name Sneakers.
Danger.
At 10.3%.
Chocolate. It's Snickers bars, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pure Snickers bars.
Oh, beast.
Absolutely pure Snickers bars.
This is...
I think it's...
This is the downfall of Owen.
This is how it goes.
Yeah, I'm not going to make any sense for the latter part of the podcast, sorry. It is, I think it was brewed in 2022. So it's a little old.
Have you had this, for a while, Owen, in the house?
No, I was given it by someone, actually. I've got a couple of others from Beretta, but this was the one that caught my eye because I quite like a peanut butter type stout. I don't think there's enough of them, to be honest. I think nuts deserve a showcase in an MP.
Oh,
but it is proper pure peanut.
I wonder how you get
bordering
peanut
hazelnut.
into an MP.
Definitely caramel. Mega chocolate. It's everything I described on the can.
Is it nice?
It's super nice. It is pretty sweet.
Is that actually nice?
It is a dessert stout. It's a dessert stout.
Yeah. Is it an after party stout?
So I'm going to put that to the side and I'll come back to that.
It's probably not a mid-podcast drink.
Is this going to result in a love and beer phenomenon?
No. I'm probably going to set it aside. I'm going to have a couple more sips.
Everyone has to drink one's mistakes, sir.
Yeah. Wow. Look, I don't think we need to hear any stories about love and beer, Rich, to be honest.
Yes, we do.
When I gave you the combination code to that safe with £1 million in that you wanted, you must have forgotten that, did you?
I actually am very appreciative of your generosity, Rich.
It was nice to see you let your hair down. Let's put it like that.
I couldn't tie my shoelaces that night.
He was the only one out of us who could let his hair down. But yeah.
It was so funny because he was so strict with me and the boys earlier on, and he was like, "Don't you be getting too drunk. You need to be manning that bar." So I was like, I was on like.
He was looking after you,
behavior.
and you were looking after your reprobate.
I was. Yeah, exactly.
No one was looking out for me, were they?
No. Nope. Well, you say that. I gave specific instructions to one person to keep an eye on you, and he failed abjecely. Brett,
was it the full swing to jail?
I was going to say we won't name and shame, but yes, it was Brett. You were supposed to look after me, Brett, and I'm entirely blaming
literally my parting words. I think keep an eye on Owen. I think he's about to go over the cliff. And,
I did. I went fully over the cliff, and I paid the price for it. But look. I'm going to put the MP down. We'll get back to Rich's beautiful bit.
When you say down, do you mean down the hatch or?
No, I mean like I'll save it for the afters, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise
we can wait whilst you finish.
Like,
I mean, it doesn't matter.
It's going to taste like Snickers bars for the rest of the night. Good. Right, commercial break done.
Oh, right. Should we get scores?
Oh.
Quickly.
What? Quick scores? Out of 5. You're allowed 1 decimal place.
Who's first? Richard?
4.2.
Nice. Solid.
Delicious.
Me, 4.1.
Strong scores. I'd go for a 4.2 as well. Actually, on mine, that was really decent. Yeah. Considering I smashed it down that quickly for an export stout, it must have been all right.
Solid. I'm going to go 4.4 for mine because Impy Stouts is everyone's favourite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Solid. Right, we're getting into
push that average up.
The next beer, which is Rich. Give us a little
Lederhosen. Lager beer. Lederhosen.
So this was the fest beer that you insisted everyone had a drink of when they came into the Oktoberfest. Is that right?
Yeah, and what I loved about that was everybody had to have at least 1 6% beer immediately. So there was no tentative approach to this night, and but the other thing is it was in a cask, so conditioned it in a bright tank for weeks and weeks and weeks, probably 10, 12 weeks. And then stuck it in a cask and then just gravity poured it. So I was worried about all sorts of things. For example, would it be too flat to have a head and that sort of thing? But it was just really. Hope this one's delicious, but it was really delicious on the night, and everybody loved it. And of course, the idea of an Oktoberfest or fest beer is that it's highly drinkable and deceivingly strong at 6%, and it should have those sort of hellish qualities, I think, shouldn't it?
Do you know what? It's the
honey.
It's the vermin vehement pulls. It's like right off the nose. I just I know this
away,
I know the smell. Yeah, it's like
honey, brioche. Yeah,
I love the taste and the aroma and the sort of aromatic taste that comes later in your mouth of it as well. Really pleased with it. I'm proud of it because I've actually made this one up. As you know, I'm a great recipe follower, but I did make this one up.
I mean, instant approval for the dash of caramel in there as well. That's one of my favourites.
I think I had Homebrew Club on Monday, and someone brought along a pretty nice little fest beer. And I think a really great fest beer, you know how you get local honey that has this kind of quite floral characteristic to it.
Yeah, you can actually taste the locality of the flora in it. But
and they actually say that that's really good for treating hay fever, don't they?
Yeah, allergies.
And allergies. Yeah, And real local honey tastes very different to just the bog standard supermarket honey that you get. And for me, like a really good fest beer is like really nice, like brioche white bread with butter and local honey.
Yeah,
that's almost like what it tastes like to me.
I think you've absolutely nailed that, Owen, because that's like, I think that's what makes that malt so good. Is it has that almost like that subtlety of an actual like local honey. And when we talk about that kind of like meadow-like flavour in there, obviously the hops will contribute to it and to an extent. But when you add it to that honey note from the malt, it just really recreates that exactly what you've just described there. That kind of like local honey, you know, yeah, the particular aromatic of a meadow that's, you know, wherever that honey's been sourced from, or you know.
And this is helping with my allergy to lager. Certainly to mass market lager, because this is actually all right, isn't it?
I mean, that doesn't taste like any kind of lager you would buy
that is
in the UK at all, does it?
Do you know what? So what interests me with this is the all Metalfrau hops.
Yeah.
Right, because Metalfrau is probably not one I've used. I'm Hersbrucker and Tettnang and Pearl. Whereas that's beautiful. I really like that hop flavour off that, and the smell as well. It actually reminds me of Tettnang. It's got a bit of spice on the nose when you smell it. It's I think I need to use some Metalfrau in the next few brews.
I think it's just a little bit more gentle, kind of floral sort of note off of this, for me anyway, compared to like the Tettnang.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like Tettnang's the Pilsner hop for me, and Mittelfrau's for the Hellers and fest beers, kind of, you know.
So I can't claim to have Tricky's sort of knowledge of these different hops. I'm learning these things, but I can tell you where my thinking came from for this beer, and it comes from smells lagery, because a fest beer is a super Helles, really, isn't it? And that was all Sophia, I think, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
And I thought, I can't just do my fest beer with Sophia because it's just smells lagery, a bit stronger. So I decided to put Mittelfrau in it. And because I've used that quite a bit and I've always been pleased with what's happened there, I just decided to do it that way. And really pleased with it. The Bavarian meadowy stuff is just amazing, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, that's got to stand pretty. Have you tried it against any kind of commercial fest beers, like side by side?
Yeah,
I feel like it would stand up really, really well, if not be better than a lot of the ones that.
Yeah. I tried when I got all the like the big 5 or 6, is it 6, isn't it, for Munich? I got them all from the malt miller at the time, and of course I had to try a couple of them next to this, and indeed the Märzen style ones against Lance's recipe, and I thought they stood up really well. But when you're drinking it fresh from a tank and compared to a bottle, it's perhaps cheating. But I thought I was on the right track when I tried that.
Do you know what this reminds me? Was it the Hacker Shore Municher Gold, where you've got that loads of like that crazy honey, but I think the hop profile as well quite matches. I'm just thinking when I've been to German sort of beer bars or whatever and had loads of different, it's like that's what it feels like. It totally is very close to.
I mean, what I remember we were having a conversation and drinking some of the fest beers for our Oktoberfest podcast. There was one particular bit. Was it Augustino, I think, that we had? It was like the real flagship.
Yes.
Beer.
Yeah.
And that was just next level. Right?
Yeah.
Like a different level.
Most people say that's the best one, don't they, Augustino?
Just a different level of clarity and flavour, and I really, I feel like if you can stand up against that, then you know you've made a good beer.
I've heard
I concur, Stuart.
What was that?
That's a nice compliment, Stuart.
Sorry,
I
yeah,
have only one criticism of the Wheatlow Brewery beers is that they have an undeniable evaporative property. They're in my glass for a minute and then poof.
Yeah, well done for reading that out for the audio listeners there, Andy.
I know. I've always thinking about our audio listeners.
I've watched with interest you guys talking about lager, and indeed other brewers, about how perhaps they started drinking lager, then got onto nice beers, then got into brewing, brewed loads of IPAs, and then dropped on the lagers, because that's the challenge, that's the subtlety, that's the real process-driven quality, as well as ingredients, but in a way you can disguise or enhance, or you can get away with things with lots of hops, can't you, perhaps? But in a lager, there's less to get away with. And so that I too have gone down that rabbit hole of being obsessed with trying to make these things nice, and probably early days for me. But what started, when I've never drank lager, when I fell in the cauldron as a baby, it must have been real ale. And when I was 18 and I went to the pub, 16. I always drank cask ale. And nice. So never had much interest in lager until I think, again, a lot of these recommendations have come again from the Hop Edition, and somebody was raving about Braybrook. So I ordered some Braybrook, and I just had my eyes opened. How delicious are those beers? Absolutely amazing. British brewery churning out lagers that are all aromatic like this and amazing. And all the styles.
We had a great pod.
When you sit in the UK and you look at German Oktoberfest and you see people with a litre of 6% beer, your mind boggles and you can't understand how that can, and they're starting at 10 in the morning and all that sort of thing. But when you realise that lager can be nice, it's quite a nice additional, doubles the amount of beer that you can drink, doesn't it? So it's an enormous expansion in your repertoire.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a drinkability of lager as well, where you can smash quite a lot of lager, I think. And if it's good quality lager as well, because I think your sort of negativity is probably more towards, like, I think Carlin, was one of the ones you and Andy were talking about. But it's like when you get the good quality German lager, then there's a right craft in that, and especially when the malts are playing such a massive part with the honey and all that sort of thing, and you start to go into Vienna and Munich malts, and you go down a rabbit hole of like Barca, etc. It's just that's just the malt. So
look, watching the Craft Beer Channel 2 videos on Utopian, talking to that brewer there, I mean, he's really absorbed that information from Germany and Czech and so on, hasn't he? And
that's
and you
fermentation.
realise that how simple it is, yet how complex.
Yeah.
For example, I was listening to something the other day, one of the sort of pro brewer podcasts, and one particular chap was talking about how to crash cool, if you like, or how to cool a lager when fermentation's finished. And he was saying that certain things happen with enzymes and changes in the yeast at, say, 12 degrees that help it to clear better than if you just cool it straight away. And there's some kind of sweet spot at 6 degrees, and that these stages make a huge difference, because it's not the quality, the clarity of a lager is, of course, an easy indicator. You can see it with your eyes, and it's a good indicator. But what's happening behind the scenes is the yeast cleaning up the beer, isn't it? And crisperating it and cleaning it up and making it delicious and moreish and so on. And these things are subtle and manifold, and there's lots to learn on it, I think.
Richard, did you? Was it the video I watched, and you fermented it at 18 on 3470, and then put it under pressure?
This one's been fermented at 17 and a half, because 18's the upper limit, and under pressure, 1 bar of pressure. Because I was under time pressure, I didn't realise my Oktoberfest was going to be November the 1st.
It's unbelievably clean, considering.
Yeah, it's to be fair. Like, I mean, my word.
Yeah, 3470. If you're going to use any yeast to rush through a lager, that's the one. But yeah, a bit of pressure's definitely. I mean, you would never know. You would never know with this.
No, it's so.
You'd never know.
You'd never know.
Coming back to your point, Rich, and to add further context, I think it's the Escarpment Laboratories YouTube channel, which I think they do a whole series of videos, quite a long format video actually, predominantly a kind of webinar format, talking about lager production in various formats. I've watched the same one that you referenced, just around what happens with yeast as you start to drop it in temperature, and the level of detail they go into is amazing. It's super interesting because they explain it in a way that doesn't require you to have a degree in, biological science or whatever.
Yeah, it is fascinating.
It. Really useful from a home brewing perspective. I'd highly recommend going to check that out.
Sometimes, of course, in your hunt for information, you hear contradictory things, that becomes difficult then. Quite authoritatively put. You need to do it this way, that way, and that's the opposite of what you've just come to understand in the last thing you read or watched. And I guess that's the nature of brewing, isn't it? There's different opinions and so on, and you have to judge who's the most. Is the German brewer or the American brewer the best source for that kind of information, for example, or whatever?
Well, the thing is, like, if you take an example like how to approach a cold crash, you're talking about the same process, yeah. But when you're talking to an American brewer versus a German brewer, of course the variables are different because they're using different ingredients, they're using different yeast, they're using potentially different systems, and of course they're both right in their objective perspective on what the right way to do it, but of course there's nuances in terms of the things that you're not seeing the differences, which might draw out that kind of objectivity or authoritarian perspective around
and if the cutting or the interviewer omits something that he doesn't think is important, such as the water to grain ratio with Vinny Saluzzo, then a piece of the jigsaw is missing and the information isn't complete, is it? Exactly that, yeah. But having said all that, we're talking about minutiae in the grand scheme of things, and as an old-fashioned brewer, if you like, from the old days where I had a book and just winged it, and of course the homebrew shops in those days, and that's what we're talking about, it was pre-internet. You go to the homebrew shop and you'd say, there's probably evidence of this in this book. So every page has got a calculation to see how I turn whatever hops are in the recipe into Northern Brewer, because that seemed to be the only hop in a brown leaves in a clear bag that was available in the shop. And so coming and this recipe book doesn't ever tell you what the yeast is. It doesn't ever tell you anything about the water. And we've come a long, long way since then. If we're talking about how quickly to cool a lager. I mean, you wouldn't have cooled a beer when you'd finished with it. You might move it to a cooler room, but you wouldn't have any facility to cool it down. You just have to let it settle. And what's available to us now in terms of information, equipment, quality of ingredients, and broad range of ingredients is unbelievable compared to if you'd come from a time machine. Effectively, I have, because I've brewed in those days and brewed in these days. It's unbelievable how much better it is now, and that's probably reflected in the quality of the beers we can make now.
100%.
Now, Richard, question: why then did you want to recreate the Burton Union?
Why? Well, the answer to that is relatively straightforward. So I was on a mission to brew Bass. It's one of these beers in here, one of the first ones I brewed. I've brewed it time and time again over the years. I make a reasonably nice, fairly sweet, malty, mid-coloured beer. And it's just, and the Bass drinkers could drink it and appreciate it, but nobody ever said it's anything like Bass.
Bass, yeah.
And so then I thought, now with my newfound knowledge from watching the Hop Edition and from
the Malt Miller,
YouTube and so on, I'm better equipped now. I can research this. Let's try and make Bass that people who drink Bass, and people around here are obsessed with Bass. There's many. A pub can hardly survive if it doesn't serve Bass, because there's so many people that are one-trick ponies in terms of what they'll drink. And Bass is just, it's Bass or Bass, and if there's no Bass, it'll have to be Bass. So I've no choice but to try and recreate this. And I thought to myself, well, if I can't do it as it stands, why don't I look back and see what the secret was? And of course, one of the things, and they stopped in 1982, so a long time ago compared to Pedigree, that is, Bass used to be brewed in the Burton Union sets. And just very quickly then, a brief history of the Burton Union set. So in the old days, in Burton, and in fact in places in Germany and so on, I've forgotten the German words for it, but they would ferment in a barrel. It was the easiest way to make a big container. You use the technology you've got, which is wood, make a big barrel, and you put your water in the barrel and you ferment in it, and it'd be on its side, and in the middle is your shive, and it would froth out of it. And the apprentice in the brewery, would have to go round with his jug, and he would have to, they'd have a bowl under the barrel, collecting the frothing overflow of the barrel, and he'd collect it in his jug. Presumably he'd have a good swig of it, and then he'd pour the rest back in the barrel. And that was his job, barrel top up Billy. And
okay.
And so one day somebody decided that we could automate this in a very Victorian way, and they invented the Burton Union system, and it was patented in 1838, which is the name of one of the Thornbridge beers that's brewed on the Union as well, which is absolutely delicious beer, by the way. So the Union set was born, and it was, I suppose, an attempt to stop the apprentices getting pissed, and also to avoid the waste and or contamination of that manual process. And what they didn't realise, perhaps, is that this system would then clean up the beer. I bet it improved it overnight. Why? Because it wouldn't be getting as infected, is one reason.
Yeah,
but also this they uncovered this magical process of getting the froth concentrated in the top tray. So we all know that many old breweries love the benefit of open fermentation. Yorkshire Squares, German breweries still do it. Even in Pilsner Urquell in the cellars, you see open fermentation. And there's a benefit to it because the yeast and the froth, the krausen, is interacting with the air. It's doing things to the flavour. So it's probably evaporating some of the volatile hop oils. And so one of the problems with my Bass clones was that it was always a bit too hoppy. Bass isn't a hoppy beer. We've got the IBUs right, which I think off the top of my head's 26, or was it 19? One's colour and one's IBU. Possibly it's 19. And got it right, but it was just too hoppy. It wasn't right.
Yeah.
When I put it in the union set, the volatile hop oils must froth off, and it changes the nature of the beer. So if you put Jaipur in there, if you put Landlord in there, hoppy beers, then it softens them, knocks the edges off them, makes them smoother, and it changes the nature of them.
Yep.
And so I thought, I didn't know all that at the time, but I thought, well, Bass used to use a union set. It'd be cool if you could do one of those homebrew. Now, at the time, Thornbridge had just had their union set from Marston's, and of course, you're all familiar with it. It's got 6 barrels under it and a top tray, a feeder tray. And it just clicked in my mind that 6 pins, which I've got, would be my brew length. Yeah, and I thought I could make a union set here, just put 6 pins in, make a top tray, get some spouts for the froth. And there's quite a bit of faffing around, thinking how to do it, sourcing the materials and so on. And I had a few disapproving looks from my brain trust when I used plastic piping, but it is food grade because it's for drinking water.
Facts as well. Yeah.
It'd be lovely to. Perhaps it would have looked pretty if I'd done it in copper, but it's not ideal. It's okay for brewing, but it's not ideal for cleaning. And stainless steel would have been probably ridiculously expensive. So I made the union set and tried the beer in it, and it's just amazing. It's amazing when we talked earlier about decoction mashing and how the interaction with the brewer and the decoction and the smell. And that's exactly what the union set's doing, but it's doing it for fermentation. So you have a period of being extremely pissed off and thinking, what the hell am I doing all this faffing about for? And then suddenly you've finished and you've solved all the leaks and so on, and you've mopped up all the spillages. And luckily I'm still not in the kitchen.
And the glycol, you've sorted out the glycol as well.
And because Thornbridge was putting stuff out left, right, and centre at the time, and they were saying when we got the union set, we decided that their cooling system, which was one big loop, wasn't any good because the first barrel would be freezing and the last barrel would be 25 and that sort of thing. So I learnt from that before I made the mistake, if you like, and put the cooling into each cask, and then heating them each cask with a heat band, and and then
do you fancy taking Wonder with the
Rich?
I've got the technology to walk around my camera, but will my legs wobble? Or will I be able to do it? Hang on.
I feel like we do need some visual
we do.
explanation of this concept.
Talk amongst yourselves whilst I decamp.
You're on a microphone that or maybe it's not on a microphone that's mobile.
Oh, he's got his headphones in.
Yeah, I was going to say we should be able to still be able to hear you, Rich, so you can talk us through it as you go over.
Oh, it's a bit laggy though.
We can see it though.
There it is.
Now I've half put it together just so you can see it.
Amazing.
Around. Put you down so it's stable. How's that?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, that'll do.
Right, so here you've got a normal double cask tap, if you like, and I realised that on these double things you can remove a little bung for cleaning here, and you can just about get a mismatched thread with some PTFE tape for a thermo well to put in there. So that meant I can put a probe then into every cask, And then up here is the shive at the top, which I normally use wood, but I'm just trying these 3D printed ones. So I've got my stainless steel pipe, and I've got 2 3/8 holes and 1 15mm for the frothing spout. The 3/8 holes are for the cooling coil, so I just put some plastic 3/8 pipe in there and connect it to my cooling. So I need 6 thermostats for it.
Yeah.
1 for each barrel, and then I put a heating belt around them. And then the top tray, which has got a few of the fittings in it, some of the 160 components. So the froth goes into here, it goes along this pipe here, and then into this feeder tray. And then there's a little valve there where I can turn it off when it's finished, and then it just goes back into the casks.
Yeah.
So there it is.
What an amazing
That's so good, isn't it?
contraption that is. That is just unreal. Absolutely unreal.
It's pretty eccentric, but I mean, what else is life for?
Exactly. What's next going to go in it then, Richard?
Well,
you got plans?
I've got various plans. Actually, Stiffo wants me to do a lager in it, and I'm quite tempted to try a Czech lager. Because
that would be appropriate, wouldn't it, with their open fermentation sort of
exactly.
approach,
I've seen that in Pilsner Urquell, the Czech lager. And do you want to say anything else before I sort of plug back in?
Cauldron.
Give us a full tour, Rich. Give us a full tour.
Right, so there's your brewery. It looks snazzy and shiny and so on, but it's a 3-vessel brewery.
Commercial grade brewery.
Have you fixed the pump yet?
I've fixed it. I've had it fixed today because it's broken for the 3rd time in a couple of weeks. So it's a touch on the frustrating side, but in here is the hot liquor tanks full and heated, ready for action.
Oh, God, brew day tomorrow?
Well, no, I can't brew tomorrow, but one has to be ready for action 24/7.
Just in case.
If you were to come home from work early and you felt energetic and prepared to stay up till midnight, you can't wait 2 hours for your HLT, can you? You've got to be ready.
Rich, were you a Boy Scout? Were you a Boy Scout?
It is insulated. Yeah, be prepared.
Always be prepared.
I was a Boy Scout, yeah.
The mantra of every Boy Scout.
Is it bed and pill?
Now, your brewery of whatever size, you're limited by your fermentation tanks. And this is never more true than when you're brewing lager. It absolutely crippled me brewing the lagers for Oktoberfest because I just, your tanks are blocked for weeks and weeks and weeks. You can't brew anything, and all the time there's people fainting in the streets because they haven't got enough ale. And it's a major crisis. So I almost bought another tank during that period, but
you were talking about. We talked at Love and Beer, and you were thinking you were swithering in another X3, weren't you?
Yeah, it's I think somebody might have leaked to Rosalind at that particular Love and Beer how much they were, and this is. I don't know who it was. It must have been one of the Malt Miller guys, and the shiny brew tools thing there. And
done themselves out of an order there.
My biggest fear is that if I was to drop dead, Ros would sell my equipment for what I've told her I've paid for it.
Oh, indeed.
So anyway, so I've only got 3 fermentation tanks, 3 uni tanks, and the bright tank as well. So the bright tank's got some lager in it. This tank has got a special New Zealand IPA in it, which is sort of secret because it's a surprise. And
Nice.
this has got a Guinness in it.
Oh,
Here.
good. Are you going to do nitro?
Yes.
Nice.
And then today, I've dropped on these amazing hand pulls with these.
Oh, 1, 2.
It's a modern idea. In fact, they were on about it on the craft beer channel. Why not have your like the big lager pumps and everything getting bigger and bigger, aren't they? And it's all to do with putting the glass in front of the customer's eye so they can see the theatre of the pour. So the idea of these pumps is that you're pouring the cask ale, which is the primary beer that we should all be promoting in the pubs, in front of the customer, not hidden behind the bar. So I've got them really cheap, so I'm very excited about these.
Excellent. What make are they? Is it?
They're the proper Angram ones.
Proper Angram ones. Is it quarter or half?
It'll be quarter, I think, judging by the size of the chamber. And then
Excellent.
I've got two indie beer fridges here. This one's a bit dark because the bulb's gone, but this one's got some Sure Shot in it and some Brett Specials.
Brett's beers are in there.
There we go.
Oh, there they are. The Harmon.
And then more hand pulls here. Oh, Kegerator.
Nice.
So it can just squeeze 8 kegs in this, and there's 6 taps. So that's always good. So keep them on. And then this is the cellar.
This is where it gets,
That's where it gets interesting.
That is crazy.
How many pins have you got in there?
So this top layer here is pins. So there's actually 7 on stillage. Most of them are on auto tilters.
That's what I was going to ask.
On the bottom there, the 9s are on. They're all on auto tilters as well.
Where'd you get
pins?
A lot,
but you don't have to drink it all today, do we?
Richard, where do you buy your pins from?
I bought all these properly from brand new from it's called something like hang on.
Crusade kegs or something.
NDL.
NDL, yeah.
Let's just see it there, perhaps.
Yeah.
And so they're lovely and new, and they haven't been battered, and I know they're clean and everything, and they're not that expensive, you know.
No, but I don't
compared
think you
to
can just
everything
buy
else
one.
we buy, they're quite cheap.
I actually quite fancy getting one myself, just the one pin sort of thing. But to buy just one, I think I don't know if you can just phone them up and ask for one.
Well, I'll just get 5.
Just buy 5.
Let's get 5 and build a cold room like Richard.
Don't be a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Man up, Andy.
I know. Fuck the motorbike
right,
and build a cold room in the front of the garage.
Yeah. Sell the motorbike.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you know
realised
the extension the wife was after. Sorry, we're doing a cold room instead.
I realise it may be a touch on the excessive side, but the central point about all this
you've just
is,
taken the hobby to the place where everyone else wants to be, Rich. Yeah. That's all. You don't need to.
Well, it is a bit worrying when people say, "Oh, I love your channel," blah blah blah, and basically what it comes down to is we love your setup and your equipment, and they never ever say anything about me. So it's I know how what the lie of the land is, but that's fine. People like stainless steel.
But there's a bit of entertainment in it, Richard. I wouldn't knock yourself that way, because there is this theatre and entertainment about yourself that is very enjoyable, and I think that's why people do come back, to be honest. So I think
when you get to a certain age, or possibly I've always been a bit like this, but you just don't give a shit, and you just want to do what you want to do and do something nice and have the frothing ale available. I mean, I can't drink all this beer today or whatever, but what I'll do is I'll just open one pen and if 2 or 3 neighbours come round, we'll drink it over a night or 2 nights, and it's absolutely fine. And it'll keep for months. Sealed up, it'll keep for months. The temperature's right. It's on its stillage, so it's crystal clear. You can tap it and open it. You don't have to. You only have to drink real ale fast once it's open, and in fact, not even when it's open, because if you open it and hard peg it, it'll keep for weeks. But if you start serving it, then yes, you have to drink it quickly, and that's something that we train daily to do. So, to keep up with the necessary speed to prevent beer spoiling.
You're doing a fine service to the country there, Richard.
Well, I've got to say, if you're not, you're the best example of it that I've ever seen. But if you're not homebrewing for the, to share some of it to an extent, then you're missing out on a massive part of the.
It's all about. It's absolutely all about sharing. What joy is in it sitting in your shed drinking it on your own? You want to hear what people think about it. You want to hear what else they like. I love the challenge of having an array of beers on that, where anybody that comes in, any neighbour or friend, I'll have one beer that they will like at least. And you go into certain pubs and your heart will sink because you'll see 3 handfuls and there'll be Bass 6X and, I don't know, Bateman's XB or something like that. And you could argue they're all beautiful beers, or you might not like them, whatever. They're all similar. And what I think is really important is to have a balanced repertoire of beers so that there's something for everybody. And the keg helps with that, of course, because you can put a lager on and a saison or whatever, you and get a bit of variation. And usually you can only put 1 cask beer on because, you can't. But if there's a big event, or if I know someone important's coming, like Spenno or Andy, I'll invite more people so I can open more casks so that there can be more choice and we can show off the real ales a bit. But my point being that cask ale is absolutely crucial. It's massive. It's everything that we should be singing and dancing about, because that is what is unique about our country, our pub culture, and it should be embracing it in the homebrew level as well. And a cask, a pin, is cheap. It's cheaper than a corny keg or similar price. It's really easy to clean. It's really easy to look after. It will last forever. There's no seals to replace or anything. And you can put your beer in it. You can put it in your cool garage, and you can leave it for months and open it when you want, a party or a do, or there's enough of you coming around to justify it. And how cool is it to have a hand pull at home and pour your friends a cask conditioned real ale? It's absolutely, this is where we should be looking as homebrewers, to really show off our skills, because it's something you can't get in pubs. Pubs are being destroyed. Everything's against pubs at the moment. Without getting political, the job's difficult, isn't it? And I'll tell you another little quick story. Recently, because of the union set, it does attract a bit of publicity and so on. I've had a visit from a chap from Brazil, and this chap's named Jamal. He's got a massive YouTube channel called Beer School, 70,000 subscribers, and he's an ex-university lecturer, and his passion and what he's doing full-time now is to teach people how to homebrew and make beer. And he's come to the UK to learn about English cask ale, because that's what he wants to look into. So he's been to the Czech Republic on previous trips. He's been to Belgium, and seminal, world-famous, beautiful beers he wants to look into. So he's come to the UK. I took him to Burton Bridge to show him the most traditional of a local brewery, 40-year-old microbrewery, and he's absolutely fascinated by real ale, cask ale, and we should be shouting about it. And
who is this again? Sorry, we're talking about?
His name is Jamal, and his channel is called Beer School, and he's from Brazil. But the point is, he's come all that way because he wants to learn about English cask ale, and he wants to brew English cask ale in Brazil, and he wants to spread the word amongst Brazilian home. And apparently, homebrew, craft brewing, and so on is massive in Brazil. Real enthusiasm for it there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so I think the craft beer channel stuff, promoting the keep cask alive and so on, absolutely brilliant. Fully applaud that. And I think that any suggestion that that craft beer and cask ale are different segments or different levels of enthusiasm or so on, we should definitely embrace them all together. Cask ale is our number one beer attribute in Britain. This is the cold room, by the way. Yeast storage.
There's more. Fucking hell.
More yeast.
Love it.
More yeast.
Bricks. Saturated bond. Oh my gosh.
Beers.
Froth.
My word.
Beers and yeast.
I've got to say, I really love the enthusiasm with the whole cast thing, and it's making me feel guilty for not having put anything on my handful for quite a long time. So I need to sort that out, and do a video about it probably as well.
Yeah,
Definitely.
There's an interesting kind of almost parody of homebrewers either side of the Atlantic being interested in one another's beer because of
that's
the
correct.
challenge. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and
That
Americans
is true.
being very interested in cask beer, and us being very interested in the way that they make beer, and sort of interchangeability of that.
It's because they can't do it over there, and or indeed in Europe. If I've seen cask beers in a craft beer place, so you have 23 keg taps at the front of the bar, and then if you're really nerdy, then you might have noticed that there's a cask beer on the menu on the blackboard or what have you, but the hand pull is clipped to the only surface that it can clip to, somewhere near the sink at the back, and it's not like we have it here. So when they see English pubs and they see this amazing, the subtleties and the delicacy and the froth and the foam and the creaminess, because of course you must use a sparkler, is of English cask ale. Some people do go to London to try it, but we should encourage them to come more northerly so that they can experience the delicious froth.
Like Staffordshire.
Well, even we're on the borderline here, because there's these Bass drinkers. They can have some heated debates about sparklers. So some people like it sort of what we might refer to as flat, and others like it with a creamy head. But certainly, if you go to Yorkshire, you're on solid ground, aren't you?
Yeah.
No doubt.
What's the solid ground in Yorkshire? No sparkler.
Oh, sparkler. All the way.
Oh, sparkler for sure, is it?
Southern's, hard pour. But I was asked someone camera festivals up in Scotland, and they have the short nozzle. What is it? It's like the Southern, and it just straight in. And they says it's for hygiene reasons, because obviously the glasses are all constantly reused, and they don't like having the sparkler with the submerged pour.
Well, I mean, okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Trevor.
That's what you're up against.
So cask beer, we should be singing and dancing about it.
And I'm on board with a sparkler.
Oh,
I love
Sparkler,
that.
why not?
I love that, like, not quite Guinness, but almost Guinness thing that you get when you pour the beer, and it kind of...
Oh, you get the cascade?
Yeah, the cascade going on. It's very cool.
Yeah. We've had that. I mean, we all went into it during lockdown and bought into the whole putting a beer engine, low PSI on a keg, and put a floating dip, and but it just doesn't work. I really want a pin, and then, to be honest, I just don't have a community around about us that can. Well, I could get the boys in, right, and then we just demolish a pin in a night. That is a possibility, but it's just that's a once in a blue moon sort of thing. Whereas the whole breather thing was what sold it to me is have a cask breather, and then it lasts a lot longer because I need a keg or a cask to last 3 months probably for me to be able to.
Yeah, the thing with a cask breather is you're not going to get 3 months out of it, right? Like at most, I think
you won't get
extend that to a couple of weeks, right?
If it's 4%, you'll get a week. It depends how full it is. If it's nearly full for a week, you get 10 days. If it's nearly empty and it's left for a week, it'll be off. But,
I mean, that would have been possible during lockdown when I was absolutely smashing it. But you know, these days when I'm doing a Friday Saturday, that's just myself's probably too much.
I think you'd be better sticking with the check valve and the.
You wouldn't believe how easy it is to drink a pin. It's just unbelievably easy. It's nominally it's 36 pints, right? So 3 people, 3.8% beer, hour. But
an hour.
What, 12 pints in an hour?
If it's 3.8, but anyway, let's halve that. Let's have 6 people on.
Pints in an hour, Reg.
But 5 minutes a pint is a bit much. For me,
If you take longer than an hour, you have to go for a wee, so it's easier to do it in an hour.
Oh, but
no, honestly, we can. This is the part of British beer drinking culture that I've love and I've grown up with around here, and I'm not actually pushing for excessive drinking because, but it's certain.
But when you have the pub in your shed at the end of your garden, then you know.
I love it.
No need to worry about the drive home.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's how it started, really. That's why we put a bar in the house actually originally.
Yeah.
When the kids were little. It's difficult to go out.
When you're out in the sticks, especially, like I presume you are, Rich. So
yeah,
either put some homebrew on, or when I wasn't, when I was in between brewing enthusiasms, I would buy some casks in, and you can easily do these things with a few people, without going over the top. Just have to believe in yourself.
Question: how does everyone chip in for the ingredients or what, Richard, or do you just fund it?
I do it. I give it away, and I refuse donations, gifts, anything in lieu. I want to be absolutely squeaky clean, because I've got a real business in my real life. I respect the authorities and the VAT man, and when you, I don't want to. I enjoy what I do. I don't mind the cost of it. Yeah. Other people have expensive hobbies. I don't think this is as expensive as those other hobbies actually, and some of my friends and neighbours don't like it. It's uncomfortable for them because they are honourable, nice people, and they don't like the thought of having free beer all the time.
Yeah.
And it makes them uncomfortable. And but I won't have anything at all for it because I just want it to be right. And I realise, and I'm spouting off about it on YouTube, but even when I wasn't, it's homebrew. It is at the upper end of homebrew. But it is homebrew. Homebrew shops sell 1 barrel fermenters and so on. In America, it's normal to go up to perhaps twice my size for homebrew. You've got to respect that. In the old days, in the 70s, it was illegal to homebrew, and it was a change in the law that made it available. You have to respect the fact that this is a liberty that we should enjoy, but respect the rules and principles behind it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it will get taken away if idiots like me were to abuse it. So I won't do that, and I'm quite happy, with how. And you've all had free sample packs, of course, for tonight. and absolutely, it was my pleasure because a lot of people have said nice things about the beer.
Yeah. Rick says, any houses for sale near you?
Just speculating on their local housing
according
market.
According to Erin, I do live in Lincolnshire, so...
Correct. Yeah, you're a man of many places in my mind, Richard.
I might have sown that confusion previously by saying that you lived in Lincolnshire. So
I thought it's not Stoke-on-Trent, or
near Stoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we've been overtaken by Brewer-Bit Rick, who stays on in it up the Christmas tree, and we aren't. So we should admonish ourselves and catch up.
We're closing in on the 3 hour mark, which is usually the upper limit. So let's get into this last one and maybe take it to the afters. I reckon.
Yeah. Well, listen. Whilst we pour this last beer, I'm gonna quick fire Baggaley with some questions. All right. Quick fire. Favorite beer style.
That's like asking someone to pick between their children.
Yeah. First
I can't. Well, I could answer that actually because we've already talked about the cask. British Golden Ale, 3.6 to 4.2%. Froth.
That's very specific.
Cask.
Frothing ale.
Frothing ale. Favorite yeast.
Again, I'm on the voyage of discovery with yeast, but I am developing a house range, which is USO5, SO4, 3470. Also love WLP 002, which I use for Tribune. Yorkshire Square 37, WLP 037, and 20 WLP 23 Burton Ale for Bass. Gulu for Boddingtons.
You've started, so I'll let you finish. What's your favourite yeast?
Those ones.
No, I'm going to force you to pick one, Richard.
My favourite then, the one I use the most, probably USO5 in British Golden Ales. Like Murgy Straight,
classic.
So,
thank you. Favourite hop?
In my tank at the minute.
My favourite hop is ephemeral as well. I love English hops, EKG, Challenger, Savinsky Goldings for Landlord, Rook of them, absolute Rook. Mittelfrew you've seen. Yeah. I like Crush, taste of Haribo. And I'm about to go on the New Zealand voyage of discovery, don't know anything about them. Someone says SO4 in the group chat. SO4, going back to the yeast, it can be like 90s microbrewery taste. But if you use it in the right beer, dark, possibly strong, something you want to be fruity, I think it's okay. And it clears quick.
So what's your favourite hop then?
EKG.
Good choice. What's your favourite grain to use?
Feyerman's Floor Malted Pils.
Good choice. Yes, I'll take that.
Also, flirting with chip malt, DRC. I like a bit of Thomas Fawcett stuff as well.
Ooh, DRC. I love chip malt.
We probably have to do a double part on that question. What's the favourite base malt? What's the favourite speciality malt?
Yeah, chip malt's a new one. I've been trying it in things, but it does boost the head big style.
So chip malt would be the favourite speciality with floor malt.
Yeah.
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 Fair play.
Wow.
Right.
Brett doesn't like SC4 either. Look.
Here's your desert island beers. If you could only have 5 beer styles on tap for the rest of your life, what 5 beer styles are you having?
5 styles, that's quite generous.
It is quite generous.
It's a reduction, of course, in what's available here on a daily basis, but it's nice to have a variation, isn't it, when you've got different moods, different weathers, different hunger levels, whatever it is. So you want, go back to what I said earlier, you want to present a balanced range of beers. You want a golden ale, you want something that your Bass people like, probably want a lager, you want something, I don't know, like your Blind Pig or something. A balanced range there will be something for everyone.
I'm going to push you to choose 5 beer styles, though.
That was 3.
That was 3. Only 5 beer styles. It's hard. It's a hard question.
Get a Guinness.
It is a hard
Oh,
question.
Guinness, yeah, easy. British Golden Ale, Guinness, Westie, and maybe a hazy and a lager.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
Balanced portfolio.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. And as the final question, you're a long-time listener of the Hop Edition podcast.
Yeah.
You're often joining the after party, which we greatly appreciate.
Yeah.
What is your favourite thing about the Hop Edition podcast?
Oh dear.
Well,
awkward.
Nothing.
I have learned
me,
a
I
lot.
know.
Chris.
A lot from the new improved
the science
Hop Edition
corner.
podcast is a wealth of information for homebrewers to absorb information from, and I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about brewing from the Hop Edition, but I've also love it when you get a little nugget of information like, have you tried Braybook? And then you go and order some Braybook, and then you have your eyes opened in a massive way from just one sentence in the podcast. And
it's the gold.
I think it's been very powerful for me to learn a lot in the last couple of years listening to this and others. But this has actually been my primary source of information. At least sort of 50% of my input has come from here, and so I've really enjoyed doing that. And for many week or month, I was scared or didn't understand what the after party is. The after party, for those of you that have never done it, is where you can just sign into Google Meets and basically be like us on the video call, and we can all chat about whatever in a similar way to we're doing now, but everyone's involved. So I urge everybody that's watching now to click on the link that you post in a minute for the Google Meets and just dip in, listen if you want, say something if you want, whatever you want to do, and have another beer with us, because the night is young and we definitely haven't had enough yet.
Well said, mate. Really appreciate that.
Does anyone like the saison?
Plug there.
Yeah.
It disappeared, so I feel like I can't really talk about it now, but it was lovely. So
you've drunk it already, Tricky?
Yeah, I'm just an animal. Sorry.
Yeah, you are.
It's freaking beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
I'm really enjoying it.
yeah, I mean the
delicate,
the spruce, subtle, but present.
It's there, isn't it?
It's a nice bonus.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me the other day that she was a journalist, beer writer, and she said, I'm starting to get interested in saisons to the extent where you can judge a brewery by its saison.
Wow.
Yeah, to be fair,
I thought it was supposed to be by their pilsner usually.
Well, firstly you've got to have one, I suppose, and secondly it has to be nice.
There's not that many breweries that produce a saison.
No,
but that's nicely bitter. How did you, out of interest, how did you add the spruce?
In a whirlpool.
Yeah.
In a bag.
Hand-picked?
80 degrees.
Did you get out and hand-pick the spruce? Or?
Yeah. It's one of my first 2 or 3 videos. The spruce juice video is, so it's probably awful, but. Yes, we're in May. It's always May. You get these amazing, soft, bright green shoots on the end of the crisp. Excuse me. And before they're too long and too woody, pick them and stick them in the freezer. Freezing doesn't do anything to a Christmas tree. It freezes all year long in Narnia, doesn't it? It's no problem. And then you can just use them whenever you want. So I picked twice as many as I need. I brewed this way back in May, June time, and I've still got another bag, so I could do another batch any time in the freezer.
Nice.
That's amazing. Yeah. Good tips.
Good
tips on the spruce tips.
There you go. It's beautiful. It's like super drinkable, isn't it?
No, I mean, literally, I just like
mine. Refreshing.
Mine disappeared.
Yeah,
so,
super.
Yeah.
It's
quite strong?
It catches people out. Yeah, it's 6%.
6. Yeah, it does taste. You can tell it's got body, but it's like this sort of citrus bite that's to it that keeps it super clean and just super drinkable. Yeah.
It's supposed to be a refreshing beer for when you've been on the scythe all day at harvest time in France-Belgium border. I think you'd know it if you had 6% beer after a day on the scythe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
but the can vary.
Traditionally was lower, wasn't
it? Yeah, you can have it quite weak and up to, I think, 9% in the style guideline.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. Well, I think we've probably reached the natural conclusion on this one. What do you reckon?
3 hours, 3 hours, 5 minutes.
Yeah,
yes.
We're getting there.
Epic.
That said, I feel like we could probably do another 2 hours at least with all the questions that we haven't asked you. Because there's been so much to talk about. Yeah, I mean, long burning log you got there on the fire at the back. But again, got to say, massive appreciation for the beers and your knowledge and sending all the tasting packs out to everyone again. I mean, it's been such a normally when we do the drink long stuff, like you'll have a few people who've got them in the chat, but it's like literally almost everyone in the chat is drinking the beers alongside, which is, it's genuinely been a unique experience for us as well.
Nice, actually,
to have that.
And if you're a brewer, when people talk nicely about your beer, it's like oxygen to you, isn't it? So
100%.
That's why I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's
like we were saying earlier, if you're not sharing your homebrew, like really, it is just, yeah, it's not quite as wholesome a hobby as it might want to be. So
yeah, it's so nice hearing feedback on your brewing, isn't it? It's just it is
always nice. Yeah. As long as it's nice. Of course, I was quite worried that when they opened the cans, they wouldn't be.
I know they were brown or something, and it's like
there were a couple of mistakes, mislabeling, mispicking, but
oh no, they've been all like amazing. Like there's not been a bad beer at all. They've all been excellent. Yeah, all the beers have been excellent.
Absolutely.
You needed not worry, Richard.
Yeah. Cool.
Cheers. T-shirts available in the merch store.
Yeah, and you can find that link on Rich's YouTube page. You have to go to the website link on his
Super soft
YouTube homepage to find the merch link, by the way, if you want to get one of these T-shirts.
They are amazing.
Just to try and bag you a few more sales there, mate.
After this.
Cool.
Black Friday offers apply.
Yeah. Discounted right now. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up, aren't we? So just to let you know, the next podcast is going to be coming up on Friday the 12th of December. So we've got a few weeks off until then, and there will be a Christmas special following pretty much the week after that, I think, right? Yeah. So that would be the 20th, Saturday the 20th, I think. So that will probably be...
What was the topic? We did decide the topic, didn't we?
The 12th, we're going to do a couple of hop tester beers and some discussion of malt, I think. And then
base malts.
The 20th will just be Christmas, like fucking, get
Let's get, drink along. We'll try and do a drink along.
Yeah, we'll try and put together some sort of pack for that.
A Christmas drink along.
Possibly via either...
beer
merchants or maybe the malt miller, depending on what happens.
Who's got what?
And so just put those dates in the diary, and we'll see you on the afters if you're still here. But we've still got 43 people on live, so could be a busy afters. But once again, thank you, Rich, and it's been great, amazing beers, and I can't say thank you enough for your efforts on this one, because it's really made it a great evening for everyone concerned, I think.
I think we should probably just close it then by saying, frothing ale!
Frothing ale!
Frothing.
Indeed. All right, thanks
go.
everyone. Bye bye. See you on
Cheers.
the afters.
Bye.
We need to post a link for that rapidly though.
It's in the chat.
Is it in there already?
The chat.
Did I miss that? Oh yeah, it's a bit
yes,
further up. Yeah, nice
So
one. Well
come,
done.
Cheers.
come join us in the afters.
All right, sweet. See you on the afters, guys. Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
All right, don't bail just yet.